their heads in the sky. Cities aflame in the summertime. No, the beat goes on.
And the beat goes on. Yes, I'm here today. I didn't know if I would be suffering a lockout. Oh, no, that's just for the billionaires versus the billionaires. Yeah, there is a lockout. The owner said, well, we couldn't reach agreement with the other greedy group, because both groups are greedy, the union and, of course, the owners. And no one is surprised that there's a lockout. And you shouldn't be surprised that I've loaded up the guest list with 2 baseball people. Coming up later on, 3 baseball people, as a matter of fact. 12:35, the Washington Wild Things are going to be celebrating their 20th anniversary at the Wild Things Park this year, and there's a lot of great promotions. Plus, they're going to go back and play a lot of their divisional teams like they did a couple of years ago when it was very interesting before pre-COVID-19 or whatever. And then Greg Brown of the Pirates will talk to us about the interesting trade that was made. Now that I look at that trade, a catcher for another catcher and prospects, I think the Pirates did very, very well. So I wanted to hear from somebody that works for and inside the organization, like the Milwaukee Brewers, so that's why I called my good friend Mike Berger. I got to ask him, he's a scout. Does that mean he has to go home if there's a lockout? I'd rather he tell me on the air. And then we'll hear from Jim Wexell, Steeler Digest. Let's see, it looks like another couple of players are going to be on that list, COVID-19. I can't imagine the Steelers' defense can stop the Ravens without T.J. Watt and now Mr. Spillane, okay? Even if they test negative, I think they're both going to miss it. Whatever. COVID's affecting a couple teams in the NBA, so it's like, here we go again. But that's what's on tap, all right? I forgot to mention this morning, I know a lot of you don't care about the ACC only if West Virginia joins the ACC, which I hope happens real soon, because it'll remind me of the Big East when basketball and football was really fun. ACC football is not very fun, but the player of the year, none other than the best quarterback, in my opinion, and I can argue with you for 5 hours, Kenny Pickett, all right? Nobody's had offensive numbers like him. Even a guy named Trevor Lawrence, remember him? The Clemson star quarterback? Kenny had a great season. I know he played a lot of against a lot of bad teams where he had 4, 5, and 5, and 4 touchdowns per game. But you know what? I think he's going to make the trip to New York for the Heisman Trophy show. Even if he doesn't win the Heisman Trophy, he gets to go and enjoy New York City. Those guys have a great time. So whether he'll win, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the kid from Alabama, with the way he showed how Alabama could come back from, what looked to be like a sure defeat against Auburn, I think that might have put the nail in the head. But Georgia still has to play Alabama. If that kid has a great game against Georgia, which I doubt because Georgia has a great defense, but never underestimate, I'll say it one more time. Oh, I just did. Nick Saban. He'll have those kids prepared. And, of course, that Georgia defense is unbelievable. But, never underestimate Coach Saban. All right? Penguins last night. Well, you know what? We're going to take a break in about a minute and come back with our sounds of sports, which will be interesting. Last night featured 2 great stars. One star is like flaming out a little bit, Sid Crosby. And McDavid, he's just lights out. When it comes to transition on the ice, this kid is unbelievable. You can't stop him. Once he gets that motor running, you can't stop him. He showed that last night. 1 goal, 3 assists, 4-point night. 1 assist for Sid Crosby, who still has to get into game shape because he missed so many games. And Edmonton got to be, they have the best offensive numbers in the league. Their defense is ranked 6th in the league. They are just very, very good. We don't hear too much about the Edmonton Oilers because they're out west, So this trip for the Penguins, remember the last 3-game Canadian trip? They were 3-0. Right now they're 0-2. They should win Saturday night against a bad Vancouver team, 8-14-2, but you never know with the other guy, with the home ice, what will happen. The Penguins will enter that contest 10-8-5, all right? And, of course, you can hear Penguin games right here on both radio. Is it both radio stations usually, Lola, or just WKKX? WKKX?
Usually it's just KKX.
And what the hell did your Red Wings beat my Bruins for?
Because they're getting better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I knew that. I just need a comment from you. Yeah, I was keeping track of that score, then I fell asleep. Matter of fact, I didn't wake up until the final period of the Edmonton game. I hate those games on the West Coast or whatever, Canada. Starts at 10.
Well,
I
the
switched-
Wings-Bruins game went to a shootout.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't have that on my Yahoo Sports. Okay. It just said final score. All right. Like the shootout. Some turkey says we ought to do it in the postseason. No. During the Stanley Cup, you just play till you win. What was it? One game went 3 overtimes, and I think the Flyers beat the Penguins. No, Carolina beat the Penguins. Yeah, they must have played for 3 days, and I watched every minute of every period. Okay, I did watch some of the Celtics game, then I fell asleep. You know, NBA is starting to turn me off. It's just run and shoot for that three-point. Oh, yeah. It's nothing like the good old days. You know, nothing like watching Lola's Pistons against the Celtics. You know, nothing like watching the Lakers back in the 80s and the Celtics. The Chicago Bulls with Michael J. At least he passed the ball once in a while, didn't he? I don't know. But the lockout is the big, big story this morning, and we got you covered with knowledgeable baseball people. And maybe if there's no Major League Baseball in the Berg, guess what? We'll have baseball at a place where everything, including tickets, concession stand, and beer, Lola, very, very inexpensive. It's called the Washington Wild Things. We'll have the GM on at 12:35. Right now, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have the Sound of Sports right here on the Variety Show, December 2nd, 2021.
Hi, it's Hoppy Kirchville. Join me weekdays at 10 o'clock for Talk On. We'll talk about the big stories affecting us in West Virginia, top political figures, sports personalities, sometimes just plain folks offering their opinions on what's happening today. 10 till noon, right after the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Mc...
My son is not some statistic.
My daughter's not a headline.
My girl, she's not someone's agenda.
What
she is
irreplaceable.
COVID hospitalizations of young people have
tripled since the start of summer.
So I talked to my daughter's doctor about COVID
And
vaccines.
she said they're highly effective in preventing hospitalizations.
and deaths, even from the Delta variant.
We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
To prepare Ohio's students for the future, we must teach them the good and the bad of our history and empower them with the critical thinking skills they need to succeed. Ohioans trust educators and parents, not politicians, on education issues. Our politicians need to stay out of the classroom and let our students learn.
Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education
The
Association.
Highlands Event Center is the area's premier destination for conferences, workshops, employment fairs, weddings, and more. With 4,000 square feet of space, the Highland Event Center can accommodate events large and small. Situated in the heart of the Highlands, guests can enjoy the many restaurants, retail stores, entertainment, and lodging options. To check out everything the Highlands Event Center has to offer, head to thehighlandseventcenter.com or call 833-639-7070.
West Virginia Outdoors is the Mountain State's only hook and bullet radio show, dedicated to the more than 250,000 hunters and anglers across the state. Award-winning host Chris Lawrence has been tracking down hunting and fishing stories for more than 25 years.
Went in behind a little birch tree its head. I reached down and got the bow positioned and found its horns and dropped down and shot it in the neck.
Whether it's hunting and fishing news,
it tracks real super well, but not with a 60-pound carp tied to the side.
Or just compelling stories about the enjoyment of the great outdoors.
How close did you let him get in before you let fly on him?
He was about 18 yards, Chris. He got turned in the right angle there, and I touched off the trigger. And when I hit him, he ran kind of up the hill, which scared me at first.
West Virginia Outdoors covers it all. Saturday mornings at 7:06 a.m. And for your daily fix, Outdoors Today brings you 2.5 minutes of news and notes from the woods and water every weekday morning. No one covers the great outdoors like Chris Lawrence. And Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. How did our eyes get so red? And what the hell is on Joey's head? This is where I grew up. I think the president fixed it up. I never knew we ever went without. The second floor is time for sneaking out. And this is where I went to school. Most of the time had better things to do. Criminal record says I've broken twice. I must have done it half a dozen times. Wonder if it's too late.
And Bill DeFabio back before we tell you about our segment that we started a couple of weeks ago, The Sounds of Sports. You don't have to hear it from me. You can hear it from the people that coached the game and played the game. I want to share with you my story of spending 8.5 hours at Washington Hospital yesterday. Yeah, they worked on the guinea pig. You name it, they did it. I thought I needed a blood transplant. They took so much blood from me. So the guinea pig was there, waiting a lot of times in the waiting room because from one test to another test. So I'm in the waiting room for, which was the second test? Stress test. It's packed. I'm sitting next to a lady. I'm answering the phone, you know, trying to say, hey, I can't talk right now. She goes, I know that voice. I'm there, oh, no. I'm thinking, don't ask me about the Steelers. She said, are you the guy on the radio? And I goes, yeah. How are the Steelers? And I'm like, oh. So her daughter was with her. She was wearing a boot. And I asked her daughter, do you go to school? And she goes, no, I just got done playing football. I said, oh, high school? She says, no, I play for the Pittsburgh Passion. That's the professional football team. So I said to myself, I've never interviewed a female football player. So I got the name of her coach of the Passion. I didn't know that they won 2 championships in a row. The team, they have their picture in Canton in the Hall of Fame. So I thought down the road that would be a great guest to have on the radio. You know, the women's coach for the Passion. I gave her my number, and I hope to get in hold of her, and it's her off season now. And I said to this girl, what position did you play? She said, I was like an outside, inside linebacker. I said, could you stop the opposing team like the Steelers can't do? She said, oh, yeah. I wasn't going to argue with her. Then she was wearing a boot. Here's a girl that's taken a beating. She told me she had 2 concussions, okay? She still hasn't fully recovered, and she's wearing a boot. And I said, what happened? You hurt in football? No. I fell down a step. But she was telling me all the difficult practices they had. You know, everything was structured, and I'm thinking, boy, that's going to be a great guest, talking to a women's football.
We had them as a guest at halftime for a Greyhounds game. They came and did like a little scrimmage.
Oh, did they? Oh.
Yes.
How long ago was that?
Well, the Greyhounds, that was like 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they've been around a long time.
Yeah. Well, you know, they don't get a whole lot of media attention because there's a lot of sports teams in Pittsburgh, but I hardly ever heard I heard a score once in a while when they're in the playoffs. But, yeah, I got to do that. I think that'll be very interesting to get a perspective from the women's basketball team. And I said, you can even come on the talk show. You don't have to come in the studio. She goes, no, I'll let the coach talk. All right, but, yeah, here she is taking a beating with football, and she falls down, I think she said 2 steps. And I don't know if she has a broken foot or what. And then her mom was talking to me about the Steelers. Do I think there'll be a lockout and all that? But that's okay. Then I said, I'm going to go to the cafeterias so I don't have to run into anybody. So I go to the cafeteria knowing that hospital food, you probably know this, Lola, is the worst in the world. I probably had the worst cup of coffee in the world, but that's okay. But I couldn't wait to leave at 5:30 in the evening because I got there, 7 in the morning? They were supposed to start the test at 7:30. They started about 9:15. I got to stay away from hospitals. But let's do the sounds of sports. You already know about the Penguins losing on the road, a very good team. Very good team. They lost to the Edmonton Oilers. McDavid, 3 assists, 1 goal. Let's hear from the head coach of the Penguins, Mike Sullivan.
It was mental errors on our part that allowed them to, it kind of fed their transition game. They got a couple of 2-on-1s. They scored on every one of them. And so they're an opportunistic group. They don't need a lot of chances, and they finished on the ones that we gave them.
Don't be surprised if you see the Edmonton Oilers or the Calgary Flames in the Stanley Cup Finals. Penguins have lost 3 straight. They used to be a few games over 500. Now that's only 2, 10-8-5. They should win against a bad Vancouver team on Saturday. Vancouver struggling. They've lost 8 of their last 11. They are just 8-14-2. In case you haven't heard, there is, and it's official, a lockout involving the owners and those tough guys with Major League Baseball union members. I hope it's not a long one, but we got a lot of baseball guests who know more about baseball than I will ever, and that is Mike Berger, who works for the Milwaukee Brewers, and the voice of the Pittsburgh Pirates, Greg Brown. And timing is good because I just noticed that the Washington Wild Things, and I think they just emailed me too, they've given their new manager, the rookie manager, took the team to the championship game, Tom Veit, a 4-year extension. And Tony Baselli will talk about a lot of special events, family events, coming up in year number 20, the 20th anniversary of the Washington Wild Things. And then there's Ben Roethlisberger. Wednesdays is usually the day he talks to the media. He makes it brief and right to the point. Somebody did ask him about all this brouhaha about whether or not music should be played in the locker room on the practice fields. Well, I can remember way back when music was a problem. Then a guy named Dan Rooney would come in and he couldn't talk to the players because the boom boxes and everything was kind of like making a lot of noise and the owner couldn't talk to the players. Well, he did say something to the players, and since that day, there's no music in the locker room. And Ben, like Bill DeFabio, remembers the days when you couldn't hear anybody talk because of the music.
And I always told guys, because people would play music, new guys would come in and play music, and I would shut it down. I was the grumpy old man that didn't want music, and I had a conversation with guys like Cam Hayward and Vince Williams and told them, I said, the reason that we don't do it is because I always wanted, if Mr. Rooney came in the locker room, you wanted to listen to him. You wanted to hear the things he had to say.
Yeah, and we all listened. And he would come over and talk to me. He said, how's the family? How's everything going? Do you need anything? And you know me, I should have said, I need $2 million, Mr. Rooney, but I have better sense than that and a whole lot of respect for the Rooney family. But there were times he'd come over to the meeting, you couldn't hear what he said. And I guess eventually he went to, I forget his name, he was a defensive back. And he was like the spokesperson in the locker room, and after that there was no more music. I don't know. We had the Nailers coach on, and I guess they play music before practice or whatever. I don't know. But it shouldn't be a topic of conversation. The topic should be what's wrong with this team. COVID has affected a lot of the players, not only on this team. A lot of the Baltimore Ravens are still on injured reserve, but they find ways to win. But we'll talk to Wexel, too, about the Steelers and their future, which doesn't look that good right now, especially that defense. So that is that. Lola, what do you think of the lookout? What do you think of the lockout? You're not surprised, right?
No, because they've got until March to get it settled. This is early, and everybody's making a big deal about it. None of us know exactly what's on the table, what's being talked about. You got to give them time to compromise. It always comes down to something like this. But we'll see in February, because they've got to have it done by March.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. But everything is on hold. And I don't know if Berger's working or not. He's a scout. Do they, if there's a lockout, do the scouts have to go home? You can't scout anybody. Here's the big question I'm going to ask Mike Berger. Maybe I'll ask Greg Brown, too, because I can do that. The Mets have spent zillions and zillions of dollars on free agents. Zillions of dollars, okay? I think just 2 players got, what, $350,000? Okay. They brought in they have 5 new players, right? They got all these players. They don't have a manager. And if they hired a manager tomorrow, the manager can't talk to the players because there's a lockout. And then some teams like the Yankees and Red Sox hardly spend any money. I have no idea. That's why I'm getting a couple of baseball experts who certainly know more than I do. I know a little bit, but I'm not the expert. That's why I like to bring in the experts to tell the listeners the real deal, all right? Coming up at 12:35, we will have the general manager, outstanding young man in his 30s of the Washington Wild Things. He has built a winning team since he took over the job 3 years ago and had his team in the finals, the championship game on home field, and they didn't win, okay? Also, this is the 20th year anniversary. They're going to bring back a lot of players from the early days, which I'm a part of. They don't have to bring me back because hopefully I'll still be in the press box. You never know, to do the 20th year. But a lot of promotions, especially for the family and kids. I think they're going to have a Steelers softball game. A lot of things going to be happening at my House of Thrills, and maybe the only ballpark in Western Pennsylvania that will have baseball. But I learned something last night, Lola. April 19th, PNC Park, home of the Pirates. There'll be baseball because West Virginia is going to play Pitt in baseball. How's that sound? I wonder if they have to pay Bob Nutting to rent the place out. Yeah, Bob, if you're listening, would you give us a call, please? Hey, we'll be right back. We got to take a break, and then we'll be back with the general manager of the Washington Wild Things, Tony Basello, right after this.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Chris Lawrence. A fire in the New River Gorge was pushed back on Wednesday by the rainfall. However, Dave Bieri with the National Park Service says today it's not out, and it could easily jump back up with the forecast.
The weather did help yesterday. We did get just a little precipitation, but unfortunately today the weather forecast is not looking so good. Today things are starting to dry out, sun's coming out, and they're talking about some pretty gusty winds coming in this afternoon, so that could easily start to kick things up again.
And the fire is located in the Beauty Mountain area of the New River Gorge National Park and Preserve. It's consumed about 150 acres and remains at about 50% containment. The Supreme Court has announced Justice John Hutchinson will serve as Chief Justice in the new year. That chief's position typically rotates annually among the justices and most recently was held by Justice Evan Jenkins. Justice Beth Walker has already been tabbed to serve as the Chief Justice in 2023. A Hagerstown, Maryland man admits to a firearms conspiracy in West Virginia federal court. U.S. Attorney's Office in Martinsburg says 22-year-old Dylan Ward pleaded guilty Wednesday to a count of conspiracy. He admitted he worked with others to purchase and transport firearms illegally across state lines from West Virginia into Maryland. He could face 5 years in prison if convicted. Governor Jim Justice's second COVID briefing of the week getting started this hour in Charleston. See it live at WVMetroNews.com. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. State revenue collections exceeded estimate for last month by more than $88 million. Metro News statewide correspondent Brad McElhaney takes a look.
The amount was 27.2% above the same time period last year.
The Justice Administration says year-to-date collections of more than $2 billion are $269 million higher than what they had estimated. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
Start your painting project and save big at Menards. Dutch Boy has the paints you need to get the job done right. DuraClean Interior Paint and Primer in One features a Stay Clean formula that not only goes on easily, but it stays beautiful longer. Available in the award-winning Twist and Pour container. Save on Dutch Boy products, including DuraClean Interior Paint at Menards. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
Season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
My son is not some statistic.
My daughter's not a headline.
My girl, she's not someone's agenda.
What she
is
irreplaceable.
COVID hospitalizations of young people have
tripled since the start of summer.
So I talked to my daughter's doctor about COVID vaccines.
And she said they're highly effective in preventing hospitalizations
and deaths, even from the Delta variant.
We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Tomorrow.
To prepare Ohio students for the future, we must teach them the good and the bad of our history and empower them with the critical thinking skills they need to succeed. Ohioans trust educators and parents, not politicians, on education issues. Our politicians need to stay out of the classroom and let our students learn.
Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
Highland Sports Complex is the coolest destination for sports and entertainment the Ohio Valley has ever seen. Pop in for some open basketball in our field house or reserve some turf time for your next practice or game on our synthetic fields. Online registration is open for development classes and leagues for youth and adults. Highland Sports is also the hottest destination for birthday parties and other events. So come challenge yourself on our play climb and enjoy your favorite virtual reality game in the arcade. No memberships required, so visit highlandsports.com to find your next entertainment experience and get ready to reach new heights.
Hi, this is Hoppy Kirchhoff. Join me weekdays at 10:06, right after the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe for Statewide Talk Line. I'll have guests, conversations, texts, phone calls on all the big stories affecting West Virginia. So tune in weekdays right here on FM 98.1 and FM 97.7, The Watchdog.
For my money, so the weekend comes, I go get live with the honey. Rolling down the street, I saw this girl when she was pumping. I winked my eyes, she got into the ride, went to a club, was jumping. Introduced myself as low, she said, you're a liar. I said,
Said I got it going on, baby doll, and I'm on fire. Took her to the hotel. She said, you're the king, so be my queen if you know what I mean. And let's do the wild thing. Wild thing. Wild thing. Shopping at the mall, looking for some gear to buy. I saw this girl, she gon' rock my world, and I had to adjust my fly. She looked at me and smiled and said, you have plans for the night? I said, hopefully if things go well, I'll be with you tonight. So we journeyed to a house, one thing led to another. I get in the door, I go hit the floor, looked up and it was a mother. I didn't know what to say, I was hanging by a string. She said, hey you too, I was once like you and I like to do the wild thing. Wild thing. She loved to do the wild thing.
I think this guy's the wild thing, because ever since he took over the job as GM, they've done nothing but win. And it was sad to see a championship final game on your home turf, and it was another tough loss. Maybe this is the year. I don't know, but it's been successful. I know the 20 years I've been there, never a dull moment at the House of Thrills. Always something interesting going on. And even if they're losing 9-1, you know, great concession stand, great entertainment, great fans, and the guy behind some of that greatness the last couple of years, here is Mr. Tony Baselli. Hey, TB, I just realized you and Tom Brady have something in common. TB. I guess if your initials are TB, you're popular, right? And successful. Go ahead.
We're both the GOATs, yeah.
I like that. I like that. So you made news again this morning. Tom Veit, who is rookie year, had a great rookie year as manager of the Wild Things. He's what, the 10th manager?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. Took his team all the way to the championship. And for his good work on and off the playing field, he just got, what, a 4-year extension? Is it 4 years?
Yep, 4-year extension. We're looking forward to continue to build a path moving forward for the organization, and we have always emphasized and prioritized stability. And I've always thought there was a extreme value in having stability from the management and the manager position, just for players' sake and the organization's sake within the community and just our day-to-day operation.
Now, day-to-day operations for the last 19 years, you've always had successful promotion schedules, pretty good regular season schedules, except I don't like those 3 or 4 weekends in a row, but there's nothing you and I can do about that. But this year is a special year, and you can tell the people why, because I'm tired of reminding the people, if there's no baseball in Major League Baseball, there will be baseball in Washington, PA. But why is this a special year, TB?
No, this season's very memorable for us. It's going to be our 20th anniversary. And our 20th anniversary season, and just a lot of looking back and bringing people together and just celebrating what we've done. I know I emphasized there's only been, I believe, we'll be the 5th team in our league to ever reach a 20-year anniversary. So it's something that I don't think we should take for granted. Fans certainly should take for granted. For some people, they feel like the 20 years has flown by. Geez, I just remember yesterday when the stadium was being built. And we're fortunate to be in a position now where we're touching second and third generations of fans, that a young child came to their first baseball game here with a grandparent who's no longer with them, and now that they're grown and an adult or have kids, now they can bring their children and kind of pass along those memories. So it's exciting for us to kind of reach that milestone where we're reaching multiple generations now, and families are creating memories here that are lasting a lifetime.
Well, you create memories in the Ohio Valley, because here at the radio station, we reach a lot of people. And, you know, there's always a Wheeling night, or maybe a Warwood night, or East Liverpool night, St. Clairsville night. So you reach out outside the boundaries of Washington, PA, which makes it very exciting, because a lot of people, you know, we can talk about the Pirates. It's a little bit expensive to drive from maybe Wheeling to Pittsburgh, pay $25, $35 for a ticket just to park. Cheap seats are no longer cheap, and the concession stands far from being cheap. So where do you want to see good baseball? Where these kids play their hearts out, maybe thinking that somebody's going to be in the stands, and the next thing you know, they're in single A or double A baseball? The Washington Wild Things. It's a great venue for, by the way, parking's free. Parking will be free this year?
Parking's free for all of our season ticket holders, so there's packs available right now, and they make a great holiday gift. I know we've been moving a lot of sweatshirts and some other specialty items for Christmas items. So certainly if you're looking for something last minute for a sports fan in your life or a kid that you're who's involved or interested in sports, we definitely recommend the opportunity here. And yeah, like you said, we will have a Wheeling Community Night in the 2020 season once we announce our full promo schedule. And I definitely can speak. I was down at the Wheeling Festival Lights Parade down there downtown, and we had the mascot, had our company vehicle there with Christmas lights and music, and certainly very, very important, especially for us, interacting with the fans and the kids all along the road and shaking hands and taking pictures. So definitely look forward to continue to build that relationship.
As a matter of fact, that night I worked at the restaurant. You should have come in and said hello to me, but I guess you were busy. Maybe you were driving the boat, right, or the float?
I was driving the vehicle,
yeah, you do it all.
DJing and playing with the lights. Yeah.
Something wrong on the field? You're out there.
Yeah, I'm on call.
Yeah, you are. But I had a lady talk to me, and she said, "You're the guy at the Wild Things, right?" I goes, "Well, I'm the PA announcer. I'm the messenger." I was there a couple of years ago when my nephew threw out the first pitch, and he's still talking about it. So something like that you share, that individual, I'm sure, shared it with their friends, and the parents got a hold of it, and, hey, let's go to a Wild Things game, you know?
Oh, I mean, between those and taking pictures that go on social media and go around, or, hey, my kid did a Race the Wild thing years ago and still remembers beating him and winning something, or catching a foul ball, our players do a really good job of interaction, of post-game, going up to the wall, taking pictures with kids, signing some autographs. I mean, those are really important things. We get messages, we get emails, especially during the season. We get that on a daily or weekly basis of, wow, this player, the mascot, what you guys do, what you guys did, meant a lot to me, my family, my kid, and we're forever grateful. And just knowing that you have a fan in what we're doing, and that's something. If you see our messaging and any of our ads this year, our hashtag for this season is hashtag we make forever fans, and that's something that we take a lot of pride in. Whether you come here one game or you're a season ticket holder, I think a lot of people take pride in that. They feel like they're a forever fan of what we do, why we do it, and the memories we create. So something that we look to try to build on moving forward.
And, I know a lot of people in this area, certainly a lot of people in Western Pennsylvania, including Pittsburgh, but there's a lot of Wheeling Naylor season ticket holders who are season ticket holders with the Wild Things. And, financially, it's a good move if you like hockey and if you like baseball.
Yeah, and we work together extremely well, our two organizations. We support them in their efforts. We go down to their games and with our mascot and our staff, and we try to do as much as we can to help promote them. We bring them out here. We give them opportunity to showcase themselves in front of our fans with Spike and their booster club and their sales staff and DJ who's on the air there with them. I mean, they're and DJ threw a first pitch. I mean, there's definitely a lot of synergy between our community, their community, the Nailers staff, the Nailers efforts, and we try to use our platform to help them as much as possible as they try to help us. So definitely sports groups try to work together, and definitely recommend anybody who's been to a Nailer game or season ticket holder that has never kind of experienced what we do. I mean, there's definitely so much benefit of what our organizations provide communities, and we look forward to continue to tie things together and showcase each other's efforts.
I had Alejandro Villanueva on the other day, and he promised me we'll talk Army-Navy game because, he was a captain in the Army. We will not talk about the Ravens and the Steelers, and I can acknowledge that. And my word's good, and I kept my word, and we did an 11-minute interview. And after the interview, and I said, "Are you still living in Pittsburgh?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "You know what? If you have a chance, come out to a Wild Things game." And he says, "You're not going to have me throw the first pitch." I goes, "Anything you want." I'm not going to argue with him. "Anything you want, tickets, whatever." He says, "Yeah, I had a good time out there." And that was a good evening because I remember him signing autographs, and I think he stayed for the most part. There were long lines as long as he could, and he made a lot of people happy. It's just one instant, like when we had Pete Rose there, Bill Buckner, A lot of good things happen when you bring name people in to a small venue, and people remember those evenings.
Oh, yeah, those are opportunities. We annually work on projects like that and raising money for charitable organizations and foundations here in our region as a whole, whether it's the Ohio Valley or here in Western PA or in the Pittsburgh. I mean, we want to showcase it, and providing the opportunity for some of these athletes or celebrities to come participate in what we're doing and be face-to-face with some people and just create a different type of experience. It's not like going and spending money and showing up to get an autograph or a 6x9 photo and moving on. I mean, this is something where we try to engage a little bit differently and more of a casual, fun setting than just kind of a meet and greet and stuff like that. So when we had Al, we've had Pat McAfee, we've had former Steelers, current Steelers, Penguins, Phil Bork. I mean, we've had a wide range of celebrities and athletes join us over the years, and being able to connect them with fans and have people interact with them on a more casual setting is something we really want to emphasize.
Fans go crazy in a merchandise store. Well, one reason is everything's not very expensive. It's very reasonable. Will they have a chance to buy like commemorative shirts or hats or patches?
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of 20th anniversary. If you haven't seen, we have our 20th anniversary logo that's already announced and unveiled, and that will be on a bunch of merchandise and some memorabilia stuff that will be available in our team store. Currently, right now, we're running, I think, two kind of cool specials for our holiday packs. We have a sweatshirt that's now available. It's our Baseball with an Attitude, which has been our slogan for a while. So we have two sweatshirts available that show that design, our Baseball with an Attitude slogan, and then a kind of really special and niche-y for baseball fans. But we worked with a local candle company, and we have a special Wild Things peanut and Cracker Jack scented candle. And yeah, those are available now, and selling them for Christmas. Candles are obviously in high demand, and we thought if you can't get to the ballpark or can't sit at a ballpark now, maybe the smells of a ballpark would be really appealing for some fans. So those are now available and taking orders, and obviously make great Christmas gifts as well. So
you know how you can get my executive producer to the ballpark?
What's that?
You ready? She's a big fan of Jim Leland. Jim Leland's good friend is Sean Casey, who's appeared at the Wild Things field.
Yeah.
Maybe Sean can talk to Jim and both of them come out to the ballpark.
I'm sure. I can only imagine the stories that guy has, and probably worth some serious dollars.
Oh yeah, I've had him on the air before, but I got to be careful to have my dump button because he gets excited a lot, and he's just so very good. He, Sean Casey, and Steve Blass. If you ever have the opportunity to hear and see both of them at a banquet, check it out because you'll go home laughing. You'll go home laughing at the stories they share. But it's just like people like that coming to the Wild Things to celebrate a great occasion, a baseball game, entertainment for the family, and you know what? It's not an expensive ticket. I say the right
we
things?
look forward.
How'd I do, TB? Did I do okay?
Look forward. Hopefully everybody's ready for spring weather. Get the next couple months. Enjoy the holidays. Get January and February out of the way. Get March rolling, and start everybody building excitement. Who knows what's going to happen with the MLB lockout and what baseball is going to look like elsewhere, but we know we're playing. You can plan on Wild Things baseball, and we are now accepting group. Anyone who wants to buy a group, we're now open on that front, and then our suites and premium areas, we're also taking reservations as well. So you don't have to wait all the way till the spring. If you want to do something special for a group or your business or a birthday party, we're now accepting that stuff, and our schedules are released, so you can check out all the dates and what we're doing.
Give out a number or where they can go on the internet or whatever to get some merchandise for Christmas.
Yeah, you can visit our website, WashingtonWildThings.com. There's a team store tab there that you can click, or you can call our office here at 724-250-9555. Can handle season tickets, can handle your group, can help direct you accordingly. And a lot of things in the works. And whether it's a Christmas gift or something you want to start planning going into the spring or summer, look forward to joining us. And we're going to have an action-packed schedule here when we announce everything going on. But in the meantime, you can take a look at what we're doing and reserve your nights here with us at the ballpark.
Finally, stupid question. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
This lockout, which involves minor league players too, right? They can't really do anything. No movement.
Yeah, it depends. I guess it depends on how their contract is. I'm not really 100% sure of how it's going to affect like the Altoona Curve and whatnot, and even some other ballparks around the area. I still think that's all to be worked out. I don't know if there's really a clear-cut answer.
Hello? Well,
We just lost him.
Yeah.
It zapped.
I'll try and get him back on the air, because I thought, I was going to ask him, what if there's a Class A player available? Could you sign him? Yeah, we got to take a break anyhow, Lola. Let's take a break, and hopefully we'll be right back with Tony, or I'll ask him off the air. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. This morning was a busy morning on the Watchdog Morning Show, including a contentious interview with Congressman Alex Mooney, who will be meeting incumbent Congressman Dave McKinley in the Republican primary for this district next year. We had some good conversation and a little bit of feistiness in that interview. You can check it out on our podcast page at watchdognetwork.com. Tomorrow, the Friday Roundtable with John McCabe, the Friday Funnies, and all the breaking news of the day, plus more holiday conversation. See you in the morning, 7 o'clock, right here.
Babies come with lots of decisions.
Cloth or disposable? Crib or bassinet?
So when it comes to protection, go with the safest, most effective choice, vaccination. Get all the recommended vaccines for your baby by age 2 to protect your child against 14 serious childhood diseases. For more reasons to vaccinate, talk to your child's doctor. Go to cdc.gov/vaccines or call 800-CDC-INFO. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Toyota Thon is on, and Toyota's full lineup of four-wheel and all-wheel drive vehicles combine our legendary reliability with the safety and handling necessary to take on any terrain, element, or adventure that comes your way. And with 12 available models, including Camry, Venza, and the all-new Corolla Cross, there's a style for everyone. Visit buyatoyota.com for the latest offers and to find a dealer near you. Toyota, your four-wheel and all-wheel drive specialists. Let's go places.
From our family to yours, Season's greetings.
This is Bob, and I want to wish everybody a happy, healthy, and blessed Christmas and New Year's.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays from the Watchdog. AM 1600 WKKX and AM 1370 WVLY.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Well, I got a hold of TB, and it's not Tom Brady, it's Tony Vaselli. And I asked him, I said, what if a Class A player, would he be available if he doesn't have a team? He goes, all those players, A, AA, AAA, whatever, they're under contract to the mother lode. So it only makes sense. Had to ask the question because I didn't know, who's available, who's not. I should ask him, what if the Pirates drop somebody from Altoona? He doesn't have a contract. Can you sign him? That's for another day. But, go on their website. Check out the nice and neat merchandise. It's not like going to the merchandise store at a Pirate game or a Steeler game. Everything is reasonable. And get your season tickets early because there are specials there, too. So, yeah, it's good baseball. Take it from somebody who's been there from day one. I was there from day one. I had hair on my head, believe it or not, Lola, back in 2002. Can you believe that?
Well, I'm sure you had a hair.
Without the hairpiece, I mean.
No, I.
Oh, a hair? Yeah, I had a few. All right. And I'm telling you what, I know Tony, you'll probably talk to Sean Casey, or I will. I said, hey, why don't you bring Leland to the park? Have a good time. He doesn't have to throw out a first pitch, He can speak to the players. That's what Bill Buckner did. Pete Rose did that. Both of them wanted me to take him to the Wild Things locker room, and, they gave him some good tips, Stick to the game. It's fun to play baseball. For you guys, even though it's independent baseball, you're getting paid to have fun. I mean, I should have recorded some of those speeches. Well, some of the things that Pete Rose said, I couldn't really put on the air, but that's okay. But, I'm going to say, we, because I'm part of that, I give marketing a lot of ideas and stuff, and they give me ideas I share with you on the radio, but they're always looking to do something special on a nightly basis. They have 42 home dates, so that's a good thing. But this year will be kind of special. And remember, they have a kids' day on Sunday. Kids under 12 eat free. I guess I'm too old. And, they get like a lunch or chips or cookies or whatever, and then they go over and get some autographs from the players. Even if the players, I think there was one game this year they lost 11-1. Almost all the players were at the tables to sign autographs for the kids afterwards, okay? You probably wouldn't find that a lot in the major leagues or whatever. But it's unique. Independent baseball, you can do almost anything you want if you're the owner, all right? And I'm happy, a little bit humbled that I'll be there for the 20th anniversary. I'm wondering, Lola, you think I'll get a free hat with the new logo?
You just might. You
No,
just might.
No, if they give me half off, that's fine. I've seen some of the hoodies out for the holidays, so. What was that candle that he talked about? Peanut
Cracker
butter?
Jack.
What was it? Cracker Jacks?
Cracker Jack.
Wow, that sounds interesting. Sounds interesting. All right, the odds are out for some important games. Michigan, 11.5-point favorites over Iowa. Ooh. Could a trap game against Houston take place? Sometimes Houston, they can pull the upset. Cincinnati favored by 10.5. In the big game, as Ed Sullivan would say back in the 60s, a really big shoe, Georgia, 6.5-point favorites over Alabama. Please, Georgia, whip Alabama's behind so I don't have to worry about them in the playoffs. Playoffs, Alabama wins. It's going to be interesting to see who the Final Four will be. Oklahoma State, I'm surprised that they were in that playoff race, college football playoff race. They're 3.5-point favorites over Baylor. Baylor could win that. Tomorrow will be very interesting because the legend, let's see if he texts me this morning when I ask him to text me what he's going to talk about tomorrow with the odds. I think he did it about 20 minutes ago. Let's see. Where are you, my man? Where are you? There we go. He's got Wake Forest and Pitt. I think Pitt's going to win that. Pitt favored by 2.5 now. Alabama, okay. He's got that in Georgia. Oklahoma State, he's got that game in Baylor. The pros, of course, he's got Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I think the game of the day will be Buffalo and New England, And I think he's going to like the Chargers to beat the Bengals. I know the Chargers haven't looked good of late, but you know what? They're going to come out lean and mean and upset at home. I could see them beating the Bengals, but who knows? But those are the games he has selected to talk about tomorrow, all right? And, of course, tomorrow we'll have our regulars on. Kyle Wiggs from West Virginia. Where's West Virginia going to go in the postseason? What bowl game? Same thing with Ohio State. I think they're going to get a major bowl. I wouldn't mind seeing Ohio State playing Pitt. Or if Notre Dame don't make the Final Four, see Notre Dame play Pitt. Okay? Some people say Pitt, Michigan State. I don't know. That would be great because Pat Narduzzi used to be on that coaching staff at Michigan State before he told them it's great to be a Michigan State employee, and then he went to Pitt. You know how that goes with college football coaches. They change their mind every couple of minutes because it's all about money. Money, honey. We'll be right back and talk hockey with the Grover, Bob Grove, and the Penguins' recent West Coast trip right on the Variety Show, hour number 2. We'll be right back.
The Mississippi Delta was shining like a national guitar. I am following the river down the highway through the cradle of the Civil War. I'm going to Graceland, Graceland, to Memphis, Tennessee. I'm going to Graceland.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1 W251CY, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7 W249DU, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News,
I'm Michelle Franzen. The Omicron variant has been confirmed in Minnesota, the second American case. Health officials say that person had traveled within the U.S.
The person with the Omicron variant attended an anime convention at the Javits Center, which earlier in the pandemic was one of the nation's largest mass vaccination sites. 53,000 people attended Anime NYC last month, but Governor Kathy Hochul said there have been no confirmed cases here yet.
This individual, while they were vaccinated, they have very mild symptoms, and in fact, those symptoms have already resolved.
The person developed symptoms November 22nd after returning to Minnesota and tested positive 2 days later, making it likely the person was exposed to Omicron in this state. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Health officials say the Delta variant still poses a bigger risk here in the U.S. with cases on the rise. At the White House, Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the president will outline new safety measures this afternoon, including expanded testing.
Part of the plan the president is announcing is free tests, about 50 million tests that we're going to make available at places like rural clinics, community health centers, to ensure they're broadly available in a range of places where people can go and access them.
The White House says there's also a plan in the works to get insurance companies to reimburse Americans for those at-home COVID test kits. In Hawaii, complaints and concerns about the drinking water system around Pearl Harbor.
Hawaii's Department of Health is telling all users of the Navy water system around Pearl Harbor to not drink, cook, or brush their teeth using tap water after over 175 complaints of bad-smelling water. A lab has now found a petroleum-like substance in the water at an elementary school near Pearl Harbor. Now samples are heading to California for more testing. There are worries that fuel from a huge Navy storage area may have contaminated Oahu's water supply. Some people on the Navy water system say they have not showered for days.
ABC's Alex Stone reporting. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you want to be a hero for the holidays? How about getting your loved one a new iPhone? That's right. Pure Talk has iPhone 12 starting at just $479 through the end of the year. And sure, they have 13s too. Switch to Pure Talk. Great nationwide 5G coverage. Yes, the same coverage as the big guys, but the average family saves over $800 a year. Now that's just smart. There's no need to overpay for Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Plus, with Pure Talk's 30-day risk-free guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. And like I said, the iPhone 12, just $479. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill50, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Plus, save on a new phone. That's pound 250, say Jill50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken alongside his Russian counterpart in Stockholm after a meeting saying the U.S. is concerned about the recent buildup of Russian troops near the Ukraine border and that there will be serious consequences if Russia acts.
We have deep concerns about Russia's plans for renewed aggression against Ukraine. That would move us in exactly the opposite direction, and it's simply not in anyone's interest.
Blinken says the president and President Putin are expected to talk in the coming days. Also, today, the U.S. unveiled more sanctions against Belarus, saying the leader there is weaponizing migrants on Europe's borders. Israel's prime minister speaking out after new reports of another significant Iranian violation of the 2015 nuclear deal.
In a call with Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Naftali Bennett cited the IAEA statement that Iran is using advanced centrifuges to enrich uranium to 20% at its underground Fordow facility. Bennett accusing Iran of using a new violation as, quote, nuclear blackmail. The move is sure to raise tensions, but it's unlikely the U.S. will quit the talks, which just began Monday in Vienna. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Debt collectors now have new ways to ask consumers to pay up. New financial rules now allow debt collectors to message people on Facebook, Twitter, and other social media. There are some restrictions. Messages must be private, and there must be a way to opt out of receiving future messages. This is ABC News.
We're going to need to fire up the plow. The big one.
Forecast is 6 feet of snow and 66 new customers for Trin Snow Service.
Hey, Terry.
She needs more drivers before business melts away.
What do you mean Dee can't drive? I thought he was certified.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
This is ONN.
the Ohio News Network, I'm Daniel Barnett. With another coronavirus variant to worry about, doctors in Cleveland are weighing in on whether holiday travel is safe for vaccinated people. Will Ewick with affiliate station WKYC-TV in Cleveland has the story.
Doctors from the Cleveland Clinic and Metro Health say you should take stock of your personal risk, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to stay home to stay safe.
I don't think that travel inherently is risky because at the airports, everybody's wearing a mask. Ideally on the airplane, people are wearing a mask, or if you're driving. It's all about the activities that you do when you're at your destination.
Traveling in itself, if you are up to speed on your immunity, it's going to be pretty low risk. We know the ventilation on airplanes has been excellent.
I'm Will Ewick. And the remains of a sailor from Northeast Ohio who died nearly 80 years ago during the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor have been identified. Dave James reports.
The Defense Department says Navy Seaman First Class Buford Dyer of Barberton near Akron was 19 when he died in 1941. He was among the 429 who died on the battleship USS Oklahoma, which sustained multiple torpedo hits and quickly capsized during the air raid. Dyer's remains were identified through DNA testing. He'll be buried on April 11th in the National Cemetery in Seville, just to the west of Barberton. Dave James, ONN News.
And I'm Daniel Barnett on the Ohio News Network.
The best in live and local talk returns momentarily on The Watchdog.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
This holiday season, give family and friends the gift of a night out at West Banco Arena and Capitol Theater. With tickets and gift certificate offerings, there's something for everyone. Call 304-233-7000. That's 304-233-7000.
Keep your home warm with help from Menards. Dynaglow heaters are the ideal choice for safe indoor supplemental heating. With a wide range of electric, natural gas, and propane heaters, we'll have the right one for you. Keep you and your family comfortable this winter. They're great for your garage, cabin, or home, and will keep you warm on the coldest nights. Right now, save big on Dynaglow heaters. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Mostly cloudy and mild for December, 56 for the high. Overnight low of 34 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Cloud sunshine for your Friday, with highs near 46. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to the outer limits.
Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, The Watchdog.
Tax the rich, feed the poor, tell there are no rich no more. Population keeps on breeding, nation bleeding, still
And let's go to the hotline, guest line, my line. Actually, it's Grover's line. He's on the line. Hey, Bob, how are you?
I'm great, Bill. How are you?
I got to make a correction here. I've already put myself on the suspended list for 5 minutes. I mentioned that there will be baseball at PNC Park, college baseball. I had mentioned that April 19th, West Virginia will play Pitt. I forgot, after that April 19th game with West Virginia and Pitt, that Pitt will play Penn State at PNC Park on May 17th. Okay, I wanted to get that out there. So whether there's a lockout or whatever, there's going to be baseball at PNC Park and, of course, later on in the Wild Things. Now, let's get to hockey. Before I talk, I wanted to ask you about this. When was the last time that NHL had a lockout? Wasn't it a few years ago, or am I getting the sports mixed up?
Well, you remember that, the 12-13 season was abbreviated because of a labor issue. And, of course, the 04-05 season was completely wiped out. So the NHL's had its own history with this. And it goes back before that as well. Do you remember there was a lockout right in the middle of right before the end of the '92 season, and you wondered if the Penguins were going to get a chance for the Stanley Cup title, and et cetera. So the NHL's been through that. Yep.
Was it all about revenue sharing?
Well, it's about cost control for owners. I mean, all those things eventually led up to what happened after 04-05, which was you got a salary cap. Well, and, that's where we are, and baseball's never been there. So we'll see where they end up.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's not a long strike and they get everything settled. Okay. I was listening to a lot of sound bites that we've used on the air about transition. I guess Mike Sullivan said we lost the battle of transition. I want to explain to the people and make it perfectly clear in my head. What did he mean by that?
Well, the Penguins lost last night in Edmonton. Look, it was a tie game going to the third period, but at the end of the night, you had 4 points from Connor McDavid, and he's an unbelievable talent, and he got involved in a lot of counterattacks, which is what we're talking about when somebody says transition. So, if you think about it, you had an Edmonton team that's missing 4 regular defensemen, either because of injuries or COVID issues, and so they had a lot of inexperience on the back end, and that had a lot to do with why the Penguins were so effective and effective in the Edmonton zone last night, able to keep control of the puck, maintain pressure, outshoot them significantly through 2 periods. But when someone talks about transition, what they're really talking about is the counterattack. So what happens when, the Penguins have heavy possession, they take a shot from the point, it gets blocked, and off go the Oilers on a quick break. And they've got McDavid, and there's nobody on the planet who can keep up with them, and I mean that literally. No one can keep up with this guy on a hockey rink. So when he gets on the other end of those transition opportunities, it's going to be odd man breaks. And that's what happened to the Penguins. And every time he was involved in one, it ended up in the Penguins' net, it seemed like. So that's why they lost the game. That was a big factor in why they lost the game.
All right. Would big bodies on the line prevent a lot of that?
Well, no, because you're always, look, it's anyone who watches soccer will tell you the same thing, Bill. I'm speaking about Premier League, but there are a lot of teams that sit back and let the other team have the ball, possess it a lot, and then their hope is that when they make a mistake, when they make an errant pass, when a ball bounces the wrong way, they grab it and then they take off the other way, and they're willing to wait for those opportunities. And that's kind of where Edmonton was in a lot of last night's game, was they knew this was going to happen to their inexperienced defense, and the Penguins were going to have the puck a lot in their zone, which they did. But we'll beat them when we can quickly go the other way with it. And so, yeah, it happens.
Yeah, what if they had those, what'd you say, 4 starters out, 4 defensemen?
Yeah, if that was the case, those guys would have done a better job of cleaning up their zone. Not to take anything away from the Penguins, but the Penguins wouldn't have had the kind of zone pressure and shot totals that they ended up if Edmonton had their regular defense there, because those guys who are more experienced and just better would have been able to get pucks out of their zone more efficiently to their forwards. So that would have been a different kind of challenge for the Penguins. But playing Edmonton is difficult. They're unbelievably explosive between Draisaitl and McDavid. They're the top 2 scorers in the league, and they just pretty much light it up every night.
I like this kid Hyman. Maybe he's not a kid. I don't know.
They got him. Yeah, he's been playing in Toronto until this summer, and then moves over to Edmonton, and he's working out very well for them. He was a good player in Toronto. So now he's helping Edmonton. And we all know, I mean, if you follow the league, the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, McDavid's been there for a number of years, and they've never gotten out of the second round. In fact, most years they've missed the playoffs. But they have a better supporting cast. It's not quite where it needs to be for me. I don't think to win a cup yet, but you never know. But Hyman's a part of that cast that's better supporting McDavid and Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins and those guys up front.
Let me throw these initials at you. ND. No, that's not Notre Dame. I've forgotten I was going to ask you. Okay. Is McDavid right now the best player in the league? Is he the face of the NHL?
Yes.
Okay. Without a doubt, right?
He's the best player in the league. Yeah, he's won the Hart last couple of years.
Yeah. I thought maybe what did Crosby do? Hold on, 1 assist. I thought this is the battle of a great one and the next to be great one.
Well, he's already there.
Yeah.
McDavid's already there, though. I mean, Sid had a decent game. I mean, they got the Gensel goal to get the Penguins going a little bit, and they played okay. And Sid played a lot of the night head-to-head with McDavid's line, which sometimes has Draisaitl and sometimes does not. But yeah, Draisaitl's an incredible talent. He's big. He's an unbelievable goal scorer. But McDavid is the guy who makes it all happen, and he's the best player in the game.
And I watched Calgary for maybe the first time in a couple of years, other than playoffs or whatever, when they're in it. That's a pretty nice team too. They've won 13, losing only 4. I like that kid. What's his name? Backlund. He scored.
Yeah, Michael Backlund.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, that team's loaded too. Can they go far in the playoffs?
Well, they can because they're the best defensive team in the league. So so what if you think about it, so you'd have to be, you'd have to be a hockey fan you'd have to have been around a little bit. So for newer fans, they might not be as familiar with it. But the rivalry between Edmonton and Calgary has always been really, really intense. And you're looking at a potential, because those teams are both in the Pacific Division, you're looking at the potential of those two teams facing each other, in the opening, either the first or second round of the playoffs, or maybe, we'll see. It could be the third. It could be probably the second, really. But you'd have Edmonton, which is going to be probably the highest scoring team in the league, and you have Calgary that might be the best defensive team in the league. So you're looking at a potential playoff matchup coming down the pike here that's going to be unbelievable in every way, shape, or form if Calgary and Edmonton, both do what they're expected to do the rest of the season. But yeah, Calgary's very solid. They're bigger. They're very well structured. They don't make a lot of mistakes. And Markstrom, the guy in goal, well, he shut out the Penguins, and the other night was really, really good again, and just held them to the 1 goal. So he's really good.
Yeah. Were you surprised that Mario's friend, the general manager of the Expos, was fired after they just went to the finals?
Well, the Canadians, Mark Bergevin.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, Mark Bergevin's. Look, the Canadians making it to the Cup final last year was, look, I don't want to say it was a fluke because they earned it. They delivered in the time you have to deliver, which is playoffs. That's all that matters in the National Hockey League. And they got the job done, so kudos to them. But, I mean, that was a total one-off. I mean, they haven't been that good, and nobody expected them to do that. So really, Bergevin's been, there have been lots of rumors the last couple of years about his longevity in that role with the Canadians. And then, so he buys himself some time with a team that gets all the way to the Cup final, but then, they come out this year and they're just bad. And they had beat up, they missed Weber and they missed Price, obviously, and they had some other injuries as well. So they had some other things to deal with, but they've been so bad, it couldn't have surprised anybody that he got fired.
Okay. Good or bad? Let's go this way. Good or great move that the Fenway sports people bought the Penguins?
Well, it's a great move. I mean, if you're, we all know, what Ron Burkle and Mario Lemieux and their team of, their ownership team has meant to the Penguins. I mean, the Penguins, it's been so instrumental to have that kind of leadership, that kind of vision, those kind of the deep pockets that group's had because Burkle's a billionaire. But the team that's taken over for them has even deeper pockets and has a ton of experience in professional sports.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to not like about this if you're a Penguins fan.
And I'm sure Mr. Henry, he might not be the nicest guy in the world, but he's got the money to say, I don't care what you think about me. He also realizes there's some fine prime-time real estate around that area that used to be called the Civic Arena, right? So he can build on that.
Well, part of the deal is they get the development rights that the Penguins have had now for 10 years for that parcel where the old arena sat. So that's part of the deal. So yeah, some obviously some progress has been made on that, and they're doing some construction work over there. But that whole project has not, as these things tend to get, it's been tied up in a little bit of controversy and this, that, and the other, and it hasn't moved at the pace that they wanted it to move at. But those guys, we'll wait and see if they can make a difference.
What do I'm going to make you the GM. Okay, you're sitting with Mike Sullivan, but you're the GM. Maybe the owners too. What is needed to make this a better team, trade-wise or whatever?
Well, they don't have a lot. They don't have a lot in the pipeline, and we already know that. Yeah. Drew O'Connor's been great. I expect him to be back in the lineup Saturday in Vancouver, probably. I think they'll put him back in for Lafferty, but they don't have a ton of right on the cusp of being ready to play in the NHL young players down at Wilkes-Barre. So if you look at the current team, the way they're structured, their goaltending and their penalty killing, which were two of the big areas that everybody said coming into the season were their problem last year, those have been their two strengths. So what's happened to them is they don't have the scoring depth. The first line is great, but they miss Brian Rust. For starters, Evan Rodriguez has been fantastic, but you look at the production you're getting from, no matter how you cut it, Bill, if the Penguins are going to succeed, if they're going to make the playoffs, they need more goals out of Kapanen, and they need more goals out of Zucker. That's just simple fact. They don't get enough of either from either of them. Like, Zucker plays hard, I give him that. Kapanen is really a frustrating guy to watch because he can do it, but he just doesn't do it on a lot of nights. And so the Penguins need to find a way to score more goals, and those two guys are standout issues. Also, I would say this, the Penguins' defense is not quite as robust as it's been. Like, I think Letang and Dumoulin, their top pairing together, they've been okay. I don't think together they've been great this year. And, Brian Dumoulin, for me, is kind of, his play is kind of leveled off. And this season and for a lot of last year, he wasn't bad. I'm not saying he was bad at all. I just mean those two together have not, this season have not been, you want more from your number one pairing. And Letang did not have a good night last night, although he's been okay for this season, but not as good as he was last year. So their defense as a whole, when I look at the whole makeup of it, Marino's been better than he was last year. I think Pettersson's been better. Matheson is in and out. So Ruhwedel's been fine. He's been what you expect. So there's enough defensemen out of the 6 regulars they use back there, Bill. There's enough, and almost half of them you could say, need more. So I think the Penguins might want to look for, there could be a push to get another defenseman that maybe would help them a little bit.
How about a backup goalie, veteran?
Well, Jari's handling the playing load right now, and he's playing most of the games, obviously. This is an issue. There's no doubt, but it's just not, at the moment, it's not a huge issue because Casey DeSmith so rarely plays. He's only played, 4 games this year?
4 games, yeah.
Okay, so he so rarely plays. He's not played well. Now, the last game they lost at home to Montreal was not his fault. That was a game where the Canadiens scored 6, but remember, they got 3 empty netters. So he only gave up 3, and he was not bad. Yeah. That game was more about the way the team was playing in front of him. But the bottom line is, you can go back to last season, the last 7, 8, 10 starts he's made, the Penguins rarely win. And every game they're giving up 4 or more goals, it seems like. He's not been anywhere near as good as he needs to be. And so, if they've lost faith in him, I think their faith has to have been shaken for sure. They might need to get moved to get a backup goalie.
Yeah. We're forgetting on offense the return of Malkin. He's going to help, right?
Well, yeah, he's going to. He's going to be the Penguins are going to peg a lot of their ability to make the playoffs this year on Malkin coming back and being Malkin, even at his age. Okay, so even if that's Evgeny Malkin in his mid-30s, that's fine. So they need him to come back and to stay healthy and to be what they expect him to be. Because as I just mentioned, like Kapanen and Zucker, I mean, that line with Carter was invisible last night, and the Penguins needed them, and they haven't been good lately. That line. They have not been anywhere near. So I don't know if just inserting Malkin in Carter's place is going to do it. We just talked about, what they're not getting from Zucker and Kapanen. So it's going to maybe take more than that. But if the Penguins if they're going to make the playoffs, Bill, they need him back. They need him to be productive when he gets back. He may even come back Saturday. I don't know. They go to Seattle after that. If he doesn't play Saturday, I would sort of think maybe it's the Seattle game. But he should be a big difference maker, and he should be a big difference maker on the power play, which has been better lately, but still not anywhere near good enough.
Should or could the Penguins take a shot at that suspended player for 20 games, Kane?
No.
Okay.
They won't. He's making. First of all, they can't fit him in. They can't fit him in a salary cap. That's for starters. It gets away from all the character issues. So no, they're not gonna touch him.
I thought that this name popped. I said, well, maybe he could help the Penguins. Whatever. It's already been a strange hockey season, but sports is strange. It seems like every day I expect the unexpected. But yeah, well, we learned a little bit about transition. We learned a little bit about what did you say? What was the last time? 05 and 04 and 05? Last time?
Well, there was no season in 04-05, but you had a shortened season because of the labor issues in 12-13.
And I do remember '94, I'm covering the All-Star game at Three River Stadium, and everybody was like saying goodbye, we'll see you next year if there is a next year, because after the All-Star game in Pittsburgh in '94, there was no more baseball, no World Series, so that was strange. I don't want to see that happening. But got to wait and see, because we can talk about it, not much me and you can do about it, right?
That's right.
But we can talk. Talk's cheap. Am I right, Grover?
Yeah.
I think Yogi Berra said that. I do a lot of talking because it's cheap. It's one of those yogiisms that I could steal.
It's fun to talk about sports, that's for sure.
And it's fun to talk about hockey because, your name seems to get mentioned every TV game. Well, our guy Bob Grove said this, he said that, he did that. We got to check with Bob Grove. You are the man when it comes to hockey, especially the history of the sport.
Well, I appreciate that, and always nice to get some kudos from those guys, and they do a great job. So happy that I'm able to share some info with all those folks.
And I'm proud of the fact that I could use my favorite 1-2 punch, you and Jay. I won't tell you who's number one. Well, I will say that Jay's number one, because if I say he's number two, he'll come looking for me.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No, I don't want that. I said, well, maybe I could outrun him. I got bad knees. We'll just leave it at that. Hey, thank you very much, and we'll talk soon, and be safe.
Hey, you too, Bill.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I forgot about that 04-05. Yeah, no season. Yeah. That's sad. That affects a lot of people's jobs, A lot of people's jobs. That's why I hope by March I hope everybody's happy, but both parties are greedy, and that baseball union, they're tough. Of course, the owners, they're tough. So the fans, we just have to sit and wait. But there will be baseball at PNC Park. As I mentioned, WVU will play Pitt in one game, and then Pitt will play Penn State in another game. The WVU game, by the way, is in April. Let me just tell you now, so maybe you can put this on your calendar. April 19th, the Mountaineers will play Pitt at PNC Park. And then a couple of weeks later, in May, Pitt's going to play Penn State. So there will be baseball, and hopefully it'll be Major League Baseball and college baseball. That's pretty cool. For the West Virginia, I think Pitt's practice at PNC Park. I don't know if West Virginia has ever been there. But that rivalry continues in baseball. By the way, West Virginia and Pitt both have like top 30 baseball teams. That's why I thought Pitt in the West Virginia ACC, West Virginia brings good soccer teams, and they also bring good basketball teams to the table. Always a competitive football team. It's a no-brainer. So for the folks in the ACC, bring in the Mountaineers, so those Mountaineers don't have to travel 900 miles for a rival game. It's a bus ride to Pittsburgh, maybe a bus ride to Syracuse. Make the ACC like the old Big East, the good old days of football and especially basketball. Okay, we're going to take a break. And we're going to go from hockey to baseball. Actually, we're going from baseball to hockey, back to baseball. What it's like to be with a team that's, so far, hardly anybody's going to be unemployed because there's a lockout. The voice of the Pirates, Greg Brown.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News. I'm Chris Lawrence. State Attorney General Patrick Morrisey working with counterparts in several states trying to block the Biden administration's vaccine mandates. And Morrisey says they've already had some success by halting vaccine mandates for healthcare employers.
Every healthcare worker can go up to their employer and say, no, wait a minute, this has been enjoined nationally, and at a minimum, you need to wait until that issue is resolved in the court.
There's a temporary hold on the federal requirement. It's being appealed by the feds. Morrisey argues government agencies don't possess the authority to establish a mandate. The Supreme Court announcing there will be a new Chief Justice starting January 1. Here's Metro News statewide correspondent Brad McElhaney.
John Hutchison will be the Chief Justice at the start of the new year. That position, which is often rotated among the court's 5 justices, has been held most recently by Justice Evan Jenkins.
Now, the court also announced that Beth Walker will become the Chief Justice the year after that. That'll be 2023. Despite some rain on Wednesday, the Beauty Mountain fire in the New River Gorge National Park and Preserve is still burning today and still posing a challenge to firefighters. The blaze, first noticed Monday, has burned through 150 acres this week, and crews have it about 50% contained. They're working hardest to protect the historical structures in the former Nuttleburg mining camp in Fayette County. Forecast calling for sun, wind, and low humidity today, and that's a perfect condition for it to strengthen again. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Employees at Cabell Huntington Hospital expected to be back at work tomorrow. Members of SEIU District 1199 voted Wednesday to accept a 3-year contract offer and effectively end their nearly month-long strike. Contract covers about 900 maintenance, lab techs, and service employees. Marshall University kicking off its annual Herd Holiday tonight in Huntington, the annual event featuring the official holiday lighting of the Student Center Plaza, along with activities, snacks, giveaways, and music for students. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on The Watchdog. I'm John Thayer. In the NFL this weekend, the Bengals are at home. They will host the Chargers. Los Angeles 6-5. Cincinnati is 7-4. Washington football team head to Las Vegas. They will meet the Raiders. Washington currently in the 7th position for the playoffs heading into the week. Steelers and Ravens meet Sunday in Pittsburgh. The Ravens are at the top of the AFC North. Steelers are trying to find their way back into the playoff mix. 15th ranked Pitt and number 16 Wake Forest will play tomorrow night for the ACC Football Championship. Both teams are 10-2 on the season after averaging nearly 43 points per contest. Tomorrow night's matchup for the ACC title will be the first meeting between the two teams this season. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on The Watchdog.
Shop on eBay this holiday season to get more for your dough on stand mixers. Or get more bling for less cha-ching on jewelry. And on eBay, you can even get more Cyber Monday steals on this season's hottest tech and gaming gear. You can get more because you save more on premium tech brands with eBay's exclusive Cyber Monday deals. Get more when you get it on eBay.
The new Michelin silicone plates last through everything.
On a world record-breaking drive from Alaska to South America in unpredictable conditions.
Thunderstorms, ice storms, they just don't quit.
Rainier Zeidlo chose Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades with advanced Quad-Tech 4-layer coated silicone that repels water, snow, and ice and lasts 2 times longer than other blades.
It's coming down in sheets.
Real world proven. Extreme weather wiping performance. Upgrade to Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades today. Only at Walmart.
Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands is the perfect place to relax after a long day. Happy hour from 3 to 6 Monday through Friday. Get $2 off appetizers, $3 off domestic drafts, and house wine specials. Quaker Steak and Lube, voted Best Wings USA. Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands with another steal of a deal. Get a steak burger and fries all day Monday for only $8.99. It's also Military Mondays. The Lube will take 25% off for all veterans, active duty military, and first responders. Quaker Steak and Lube voted Best Wings USA.
Highland Sports Complex is the coolest destination for sports and entertainment the Ohio Valley has ever seen. Pop in for some open basketball in our field house or reserve some turf time for your next practice or game on our synthetic fields. Online registration is open for development classes and leagues for youth and adults. Highland Sports is also the hottest destination for birthday parties and other events. So come challenge yourself on our play climb and enjoy your favorite virtual reality game in the arcade. No memberships required, so visit highlandsports.com to find your next entertainment experience and get ready to reach new heights.
Does your company's website work for you? Is it helping attract new clients and improving your brand awareness? If not, or you don't know, contact the team at Omni Strategic Technologies. With expert web developers, they build amazing web experiences that help their clients perform better. Contact Omni at 304-242-7600 or visit them at www.omniperforms.com.
Tackle tough jobs with Bosch power tools and accessories from Menards. From the workshop to the job site, Bosch packs the performance and features you need to get the job done right. That's why Bosch is the choice of pros. And with Menards' trusted team and huge selection of over 500 Bosch tools, bits, blades, and accessories, finding the right tool is easy. Save big on Bosch tools and accessories at Menards. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
This is Hoppy Kercheval. Join me weekdays at 10 o'clock right after the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe or Talkline. I have guests, conversations, texts, phone calls on all the big stories affecting us in West Virginia. So tune in weekdays right here on FM 98.1 and FM 97.7, The Watchdog.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of baseball talk. We started with the Wild Things general manager talking about the 20th anniversary of the team. A lot of great things going to be happening at the House of Thrills. Coming up after this next guest is Mike Berger, a Pittsburgher who works for the Milwaukee Brewers. Right now, I think he's working. Greg Brown. Hey, Greg, that trade I made because I was a little bit upset I couldn't get a hold of Wayner, I couldn't get a hold of you, I couldn't get rid of, who's my other guy, Kevin Gorman. I was a little bit upset, so I traded your butt to Cleveland for 2 prospects and a cheap Radio Shack microphone. I reneged on the deal. I want you with the Pirates. How's that sound?
Oh, that sounds good. Now, did you trade the other guys as well since you were upset with them too?
No, because I don't want Wayner to come to Wheeling and kick my butt.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right, good idea.
Okay, how's that?
What about Gorman?
I need him. I haven't talked to him. I already owe him a dinner because he predicted, he told me, he said, watch Jacob Stallings get traded. And I said, you don't trade a Gold Glove. Well, I guess he was right. He traded a Gold Glove for another Gold Glove. And I talked to Ross Vecchio. I don't know if you know him. He used to be the GM of the Washington Wild Things. Now he's a scout for the LA Angels. And I talked to Mike Berger last night. He works for the Milwaukee Brewers. He thought the Pirates and Ross Vecchio got the best of that deal, trading it for a catcher and 3 prospects, and they liked all 3. What'd you think of all 3?
Well, first of all, it's great to hear that. I respect them both. And, of course, I know Mike Berger very well. Tell him I said hi when you talk to him.
Okay.
Great friend. And, again, I respect him a whole heck of a lot. So hearing that from those 2 guys, yeah, I thought the Pirates did a nice job of it. I hated to see Jacob leave, but as you said, they traded a Gold Glover for a guy that's won 2.
Yeah.
And I think when healthy, and I think they probably did their due diligence and probably found out that the last couple of years he had not been, and with a full off season, healthy again and ready to go. I love the trade again. Liking Jacob Stallings, trying to put the personal feelings aside,
Yeah.
because I will miss him. He's such a pro, but it's a business, and I think they did a nice job getting a guy that I think is going to be a really good player for at least a year, and then we'll see what's happening. They're looking for kind of like a placeholder.
Yeah.
It seems to me, for Henry Davis, and I think Perez is the guy that will do that lease for a year, and we'll see what goes on after that.
Yeah. Okay. What do you? You're not surprised there's a lockout, are you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't. I'm really not paying a whole heck of a lot of attention to it. It's December, and the season doesn't start till April. So, I guess I'm ambivalent to think that it was going to happen, not going to happen. I really, honest to gosh, have not been paying a whole heck of a lot of attention to it because we're still in December.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised at this. So many teams that were not in the playoffs went out and spent some money free agency. But your big-time, big-market teams like the Dodgers, the Red Sox, even the Yankees, they didn't spend a whole lot of money. Why is that? You would think they would sign some free agents before all of this broke out with the lockout.
I don't know what the reasoning was. I think the Mets, kind of set the standard because Steve Cohen, their owner, was apparently pretty upset that they didn't win last year when he spent money, and now he's going to try and do it again. And I think that the dominoes kind of fall that once they signed Scherzer, and then the others. One of the surprises for me was this Marcus Stroman going to the Cubs late last night. Who's a good Mets pitcher. This is a team that's going to need, despite Scherzer, still going to need pitching because you don't know about DeGrom.
No, you don't.
They let Syndergaard sign as a free agent with the Angels. So, I don't know what it's kind of bizarre. Like they figured that Scherzer is the prize. We'll get him, but I still don't think that there's enough in that rotation when you lose all the other guys. It's going to be really interesting to see. And you're right; these other teams that didn't sign guys or those that you might have expected to make big moves for whatever reason didn't.
I cannot say. Hey, how about this scenario? Maybe I'm crazy. Well, I am crazy, but I'm not stupid, I don't think. Here are the Mets. I'm only a couple of million off. In the offseason, or last couple of weeks, they have spent $254 million for what, 3 players? Okay, now they're the Mets uniform. They don't even have a manager. If they bring in some guy now, he can't even talk to the players, right, during the lockout?
Yeah, you're not supposed to talk to anybody about the players or other than minor league players. Now these are the major leaguers. You can talk to the minor leaguers.
Okay.
But you're not supposed to talk to anybody. And that's kind of wild. I hadn't really thought about that. I guess I had forgotten that they don't have a manager yet.
No.
I hadn't realized that.
No, yeah. If I'm the manager, if I'm the manager, I want to talk to my guys. Get to know them, get to feel them out, so to speak. I don't know. It's all nuts.
Well, the one thing about him, he'll be going in a pretty good situation, won't he? He's got some star players, and Scherzer's practically a manager himself.
That's true. That's true.
He's going to be thrilled, I'm sure. With who he gets. They did get I know their general manager. They got Billy Epler. He's the guy that's making all the moves. So I guess they figured that was the most important thing. But yeah, you're right. That's bizarre. I had not thought about the fact that they didn't have a manager.
Yeah, I was just thinking the other day. That's why the smoke was coming to my ears because I was thinking. I goes, wait a minute, what these Mets are doing? What are they doing? Who else is
that's kind of wild.
And then I did some homework. $254 million, I think, for 3 players. They don't have a manager.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's really funny.
Yeah, that's crazy. I like what Ben is doing. I mean, he's building his own team. And what did he spend to get Yoshi? $7 million? $4 million?
I think it was 4.
Yeah, that's. I just saw it on myself. $4 million. Yeah. Okay.
And I like that move. He said yesterday in a conference call with members of the media that he's going to leave the door open for guys like Moran and Steven Brault, which I thought was interesting. See how that plays out. Is there a role for Moran? I guess a lot will depend on whether the designated hitter winds up in the National League.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Because then you could have Yoshi be your DH. From what I hear also from that call yesterday, a reporter who apparently either talked to Yoshi on the Zoom call from the previous day, or I don't know where she was calling from, whether she's actually in Asia, but she said to Ben Cherington toward the end of the conference call that Yoshi is absolutely thrilled about coming back to Pittsburgh. He was just beaming, and that's great too, because he became kind of like a cult hero in a short amount of time last year. But I like him coming back, and I agree with you. I like what Cherington's done, as he would say, and we've been saying it's great that they are continuing to build up the farm system. But at some point, and you know this, Bill, at some point in the next couple of years, you are going to have to see the major league team win more ball games. He knows that. That's not a secret. No. So we can talk all we want to, which is great, about the state of the farm system. The farm system went from, I believe, a year ago, they were, if memory serves, 18th or 20th, according to Baseball America, their farm system. And now they're, again, if memory serves, they're the top ranked, the best National League farm system. So that's a huge leap in a short amount of time. And I like that, too, that Cherington didn't mess around. No. And he continues to build up. That's what the reason they went with the Stallings trade, was to bring in more talent. And he also said, too, by the way, we're getting, which he has not said before, but he did say yesterday that we're getting closer, which was music to my ears, because he's not still has set a timetable, but at least he's saying that we're getting closer at the major league level now. These guys in the minor leagues are getting closer to the big leagues, and that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Wow. I got to ask you this question. I hope he stays, but would he put Brian Reynolds on the block if the trade was something, wow, I got to do this? Is he tradable?
Well, it's like anything. I think we've talked about this before. It's like anything. It's any sport. No longer in this day and age in the world of sports do you ever say never, because trades shock you all the time. Players leave. And I go back to the one that comes to mind, of course, way back. Whoever thought that Babe Ruth would leave the Red Sox? But then when Wayne Gretzky was traded from Edmonton, that blew me away. Probably 30 years ago to the LA Kings.
Yeah.
So you never say never. It would shock me, and it would have to shock Ben Cherington for the return. Yeah. But he's not out there looking to trade Brian Reynolds. If anything, he's looking to keep him in a Pirate uniform for a lot of years. If the sides can get together, that would be ideal.
Yeah, I know that cliche, never say never. I remember when Bobby Mercer was traded for, who did the Yankees get for him? Bobby Bonds. I just read a Joe DiMaggio book not too long ago. There's like 15,000 Joe DiMaggio books. Not as many as Yogi Berra books. But Joe DiMaggio thought he was going to be traded to Boston for Ted Williams, which would have been unbelievable. So,
wow.
You never say never. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have now this is kind of, how much time do you have?
About 11 minutes.
Okay. I have speaking of reading books, reading this book written by Grantland Rice. I don't know if you know that name or not.
I know that name long time ago, right? Wasn't he a commissioner or something? Yeah.
No, he was one of the really first legitimate sports writers.
Okay, yeah.
In the early going back to 1920s and 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I think he passed away in around 1954, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. And he wrote a book a year or two before he passed away. He wrote this book, and basically the book was about his experiences with some of the great sports figures of the day, including Babe Ruth, who he actually golfed with. He talked about that. Ty Cobb, Bobby Jones, the golfer, Walter Hagen, just all these great athletes. I mean, these were the cream of the crop. And it struck me as I'm reading this book just a few days ago, that this one line in the book, he's talking about his conversation with Ty Cobb about Babe Ruth. And, you know, you say what you want to about Cobb, but he was a student of the game, you know, apparently very surly guy. And in this book, he talks about golfing with Cobb and how the guys that were part of the foursome loved to get under Cobb's skin and get him angry. And they talked about, you know, him going in high with his spikes all the time to try and hurt an opponent, and he took umbrage with that. He said, you know, I never did that. Anyway, the point of me bringing this up is that recently I was talking to someone who was kind of bemoaning the current baseball play, which I do sometimes. I get on my high horse and talk about how much better it was years ago. I can't stand the idea of the designated hitter, for example. I don't like replay. I don't like the fact that too many teams are trying to just get these home run hitters in there and either hit a home run or strike out, blah, blah, blah. Well, Ty Cobb is talking to Grantland Rice in this book about that very subject. This was in 1924, a conversation he had. Imagine that. Wow. A conversation he had in 1924, and he was talking about Babe Ruth. Cobb, this is Cobb, and this is a quote from the book, Bill. He says, Babe Ruth has changed baseball. I guess more people would rather see Babe hit one over the fence than see me steal second.
Yeah.
I feel bad about it, for it isn't the game I like to see or play. The old game was one of skill.
Yeah.
Skill and speed and quick thinking. This game is all power. But there'll never be another power man like this fellow, Babe Ruth. So, is that unbelievable? That
yeah.
He's talking in 1924.
And it's 100 years later.
That, yeah, that they're having now. It's amazing.
What's the name of that book? Do you know?
The Tumult and wait, what is the name of that book? Am I right there? The Tumult and the Screaming and the Tumult.
Okay. Can you text that to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got to read
Give
that.
me yeah, I'll text you the name of the Tumult. It's the Tumult and the Shouting. I'm sorry. Okay. The Tumult and the Shouting.
Okay, you got to get this book too. I think I have one copy of it. It's all beat up, but he gave it to me as a gift.
Who's that?
Broken Cigars by Myron Cope.
Oh, wow.
When he worked for, not Sport Magazine, Men's Magazine, it was a men's journal or whatever. It's 12 chapters, and he spent 1 month with the who's who. Bill Russell, Muhammad Ali. I mean, it's a great book. First of all, not only was he a great boxer, people say, oh, he's a wimp. No, he was no wimp. He was a gold glove, not a gold, what do they call it? Golden glove winner at the YMCA in Pittsburgh. And,
yeah, I knew he was a great boxer.
And he was a tremendous writer, for a number of years.
A great writer.
Yeah.
A great writer. Now, some would argue he was not a great announcer, and he always kind of made fun of his voice.
Yeah, that's okay.
But he was a great writer. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, try and find that book, Broken Cigars.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a great book. I mean, I read it from cover to cover, saying, wow, as much as I knew Myron, traveled with him, had dinner with him, I never knew he was such a great writer. I knew about the boxing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was first, I mean, of course, boxing, yeah. But, I mean, in terms of his professional career in journalism, he was not a broadcaster, as you know. He was a writer, first and foremost.
Yeah.
With Sport Magazine, right?
Yeah, and Ted Atkins was the popular and very smart, innovative PD director, TAE, heard an audition tape with Myron, and he says, I'm not hiring that clown. And
wow.
I think somebody at the Steelers said, with some power, maybe it was Mr. Rooney, yeah, let's hire him, because they had the last say on it. And, the rest is history. Ted later on in life said, boy, I would have made the biggest mistake in Pittsburgh radio if I didn't hire Myron Cope.
How about that?
But he heard the tape, you know, and he goes, "Who is this guy? He's like a clown."
Well, this voice is great.
Yeah. And you know,
dear caller.
yeah, and Myron is still living in the hearts of everybody because for every terrible towel that's sold, I think 90% of it goes to Myron's favorite charity. So he's still alive in spirit.
Yeah. Well, he'd be spinning in his grave, wouldn't he, though, the way they're playing these days?
Yeah, he would laugh about players. What, music in the locker room?
Oh, my gosh. He'd be going crazy every Sunday.
Hey, do the Pirates play music in the locker room?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, even when the media's in there?
I think when the media comes in, now, of course, there's been a couple of years where the media's been allowed in.
Oh, that's true.
But I think that they turned it down when the media was in so they could do interviews.
All right. I have NewYorkYankees.com, and there is some talk if they're looking for a first baseman, a former Pirate could be in the talks, Josh Bell. He'd look good in pinstripes. Hell, we got most of the ex-Pittsburgh Pirates up there.
Well, I think he'd probably be, he's best suited as a designated hitter. He's not a good defender. He's not good at all, and the Nationals found that out. The end of last year, the Nationals tried to put him in the outfield.
Oh, what idiot would do that?
Well, I mean, that's the problem with Josh. He just really struggles defensively.
Yeah.
And he really is the perfect designated hitter.
Yeah. Boy, Starling Marte hit the lottery, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He we were talking about all the guys that reap the rewards of free agency, and well, he was drawing a lot of attention from a lot of people.
Yeah, he was. Well,
so it's going to be interesting to see what he does from this point forward, because he just kept getting better and better, really, as the years have gone on with more experience. Of course, that happens.
Can you imagine? Let's get all these ex-Pirates who are still playing, and I bet we have a great all-star team.
You could probably say that. I talked to some other friends about that who oftentimes say, "Oh, if they kept this guy, kept that guy." You could say that about just about every team in baseball.
That's true. That's very true.
I listen to when I go to different cities. I will try and on occasion listen to some of their sports talk shows, and might read some Twitter stuff from their writers or whatnot. And just for one example, the Cardinals fans ripped the Cardinals organization for giving up on all these outfielders over the years. They're still looking for outfielders. Like, what's wrong with these Cardinals? Every time a player leaves, he goes and does better elsewhere. Stephen Piscotty went to Oakland. Randy Arozarena just won the American League Rookie of the Year for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
He was a Cardinal.
He was a Cardinal, yeah.
Outfielder. There are like 5 or 6 Cardinal outfielders that were with St. Louis. Had they kept them, same is true. And in just about every situation, you'd find that. I remember when the Pirates got Russell Martin and then Francisco Cervelli and A.J. Burnett. All the Yankee fans were so upset about how did you let these guys go? And if we could just get all these ex-Yankees back, we'd have a really good team.
Yep. Hey, we're running out of time. Hey, it'll only take a few minutes. You want to say hello to Mike Berger? He's going to be on in a few minutes after the news.
Sure.
Okay, let me put you on hold. It'll be about 6 or 7 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll say, by the way, we have a special guest on the hotline.
Okay.
He's not one of the best broadcasters in baseball. He's one of the great ones. How about that one?
Whoa!
Yeah, baby. We got to get your butt down here with Steve Blass.
Yes.
All right.
No doubt.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be like Frenchie Fuqua calling Franco. Hey, Franco, how are you? That's coming up in 3 weeks. Franco's Immaculate Reception right here on The Variety Show. Right now, we're going to talk to somebody who works for the Milwaukee Brewers, Mike Berger.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. President Biden, after getting briefed at the National Institutes of Health in Maryland, outlined his action plan to battle the pandemic heading into winter. He says it includes ramping up vaccinations and surge teams, along with expanded testing and making free at-home tests more available. The president says the timing is right as the second case of the Omicron variant is now confirmed in the U.S.
My plan I'm announcing today pulls no punches in the fight against COVID-19, and it's a plan that I think should unite us.
The president says the Delta variant is still the dominant threat in the U.S. It's estimated 100 million Americans who are eligible have not yet received their COVID shots. Back on Capitol Hill, another government shutdown deadline looming. Congress needs to pass a resolution to extend funding by the end of the week, tomorrow.
House Democrats are planning to vote as soon as today on a stopgap measure that would keep the government funded until mid-February and avert a shutdown at midnight Friday. Assuming it passes the House, the measure would then go to the Senate, where its fate is still unclear. Some Republicans are threatening to block the bill unless it eliminates funding to enforce President Biden's vaccine or test mandates. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi with some strong words for those Republican senators.
How do they explain to the public that they're shutting down government because they don't want people to get vaccinated?
Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
In Michigan, the 15-year-old suspect in Tuesday's school shooting remains in custody and is facing charges as an adult, but now officials are worried about copycats.
Talk of online threats leading up to Tuesday's shooting at Oxford High School may be only that, talk. Sheriff Michael Bouchard says his deputies did investigate one troubling comment weeks ago.
The threat that we were notified in advance was one from November 11.
And it came from a different school, not Oxford High. Still, dozens of schools and school districts in the Detroit area have canceled classes today, and some of them tomorrow as well, out of concern that somebody might be planning a similar attack.
ABC's Jim Ryan. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you want to be a hero for the holidays? How about getting your loved one a new iPhone? That's right. Pure Talk has iPhone 12 starting at just $479 through the end of the year. And sure, they have 13s too. Switch to Pure Talk. Great nationwide 5G coverage. Yes, the same coverage as the big guys, but the average family saves over $800 a year. Now that's just smart. There's no need to overpay for Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Plus, with Pure Talk's 30-day risk-free guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. And like I said, the iPhone 12, just $479. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill 50, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Plus, save on a new phone. That's pound 250, say Jill 50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
In an ABC News exclusive, actor Alec Baldwin says he did not pull the trigger in that accident that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the movie set. We're also hearing from the owner of the prop arsenal that provided guns and ammunition to the movie. ABC's Kaylee Hartung has more.
A new search warrant sending authorities to collect evidence from Seth Kenny's Albuquerque business, PDQ Arm and Prop. But Kenny says that live ammo they seized doesn't match what was found on the set.
They found 4 rounds that were close enough to take in with them. They're not a match, but they were close. So there's something very unique about the live rounds that were found on Rust, but we've got to wait for the FBI to do its job.
George Stephanopoulos' full interview with Alec Baldwin airs tonight on ABC at 8. As we approach the holidays, a new scam alert about the massive jump in online shopping fraud. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis with more.
The Better Business Bureau says the top types of fraud purchases involve cars, pets, products and services, and free trial offers. The best way to protect yourself is double check that website before making a purchase. Make sure it's legit and pay by credit card. That can often protect you against fraud. You can take it up with the credit card company if it's not legit.
The Better Business Bureau shows a 40% increase in the number of complaints about online scams. This is ABC News.
With just one spray of Microban 24, your hard surfaces are sanitized for up to 24 hours. Touch after touch after touch.
So 6 hours from now?
Still sanitized.
12 hours?
Yep.
18 hours.
We're really doing this.
24 hours.
When used as directed, one spray of Microban keeps killing 99.9% of bacteria touch after touch for, up to 24 hours.
Wow.
Microban 24, the sanitizer 4 out of 5 doctors would use in their own homes. So why aren't you?
I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
On the Ohio News Network, I'm Daniel Barnett. The Central Ohio Sheriff's deputy who fatally shot Casey Goodson Jr. in the back 5 times has been charged with murder and reckless homicide. Now retired Franklin County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Mead, who was white, was charged today. He shot Goodson, who was black, last December in an encounter that is still largely unexplained and involved no body camera or dash cam footage. Mead's attorney previously said the coroner's report that found Goodson was shot 5 times in the back has no bearing on the events. A message seeking comment from Mead's attorney has not yet been returned. That case remains under investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office. And hospitals in Northwest Ohio report they're being overwhelmed with COVID-19 patients. Madeline Watkins with affiliate station WTOL-TV in Toledo reports.
Dr. Brian Kaminsky with ProMedica is calling this a serious situation.
Right now, we have some of the highest number of admits and ICU bed use than we've had, even when we had that spike of, a month or two ago.
About 1 in every 6 patients in the hospital have COVID-19. And a majority of the people walking through emergency room doors are also COVID patients. The president of Wood County Hospital, Dr. Stan Korducki, says their beds are quickly filling up too. Madeline Watkins in East Toledo.
For a look at state news anytime, visit onnradio.com. I'm Daniel Barnett on the Ohio News Network.
Thank you for riding with the Watchdog. Live and local, just the way you like it.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Toyotathon is on, and Toyota's full lineup of 4-wheel and all-wheel drive vehicles combine our legendary reliability with the safety and handling necessary to take on any terrain, element, or adventure that comes your way. And with 12 available models, including Camry, Venza, and the all-new Corolla Cross, there's a style for everyone. Visit buyatoyota.com for the latest offers and to find a dealer near you. Toyota, your 4-wheel and all-wheel drive specialists. Let's go places.
Highland Sports Complex is the coolest destination for sports and entertainment the Ohio Valley has ever seen. Pop in for some open basketball in our field house or reserve some turf time for your next practice or game on our synthetic fields. Online registration is open for development classes and leagues for youth and adults. Highland Sports is also the hottest destination for birthday parties and other events. So come challenge yourself on our play climb and enjoy your favorite virtual reality game in the arcade. No memberships required, so visit highlandsports.com to find your next entertainment experience and get ready to reach new heights.
Hello everyone from the Watchdog. I'm the Storm Tracker Darnell Foster with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Mostly cloudy and mild for December, 56 for the high. Overnight low of 34 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Cloud sunshine for your Friday, but the high is near 46. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, The Watchdog.
Was so much colder then. My father was a soldier then, and times were very hard when I was young. When I was young, I smoked my first cigarette at 10, and for girls.
Another great story. When I was young, I used to pester Dick Bashani, PR director of the Red Sox. This is like 1972. I pestered the guy. I'd walk across the street, wait for him to come into the Fenway Park offices. Mr. Bashani, is there anything I can do? I'll do anything. I'll clean the bathrooms. I need to be, well, college assistant. Today they call them interns. He got tired of seeing me and hearing from me. So he gave me a job. Yeah, I was a gopher. They paid me $10 to feed the writers, go down and give stats to the opposing coach and everything. Then I come to Pittsburgh, and I walk into the Pirates office. I wanted to meet people. I met the PR guy, Bill Guilfoyle, who used to work for the Yankees, and a man down the hallway, Jack Berger, okay? Now, this is Jack Berger's son, who's a scout for the Milwaukee Brewers. The circle of things is unbelievable, Michael.
You went from a pest to a gopher.
Well, hey. But you know what? I could never take the answer no. So I kept bothering people, you know? That's how I got a lot of my jobs. I've yet to show a resume to anyone, you know? I am a character guy. I'm a character guy no matter what you say.
That's right. That's right. How you doing, buddy?
Why complain? When you get to be 70, no one cares.
There you go.
Well, Lola cares because she has to work with me. But I take care of her. Say hello to Lola.
Hello, Lola.
Hello. How are you doing today?
She's the big Tiger fan, you know?
I know. I remember we had that discussion a few years back. Big Tiger fan. They've had a nice off season thus far, too.
Yeah.
Well, let's just hope it carries over.
Hey, you know who's a big fan of Lola and Jim Leland? I mix that because Jim Leland, you know, was with the Tigers. He's on the air, and I think he's a big fan of yours. Are you ready? Caller, you're on the air with Mike Berger, the Milwaukee Brewers.
This is an absolute thrill, I can't tell you one of my dear friends, and I think the greatest baseball man today.
Wow.
Oh well, that's high praise coming from you, Brownie.
I was trying to disguise my voice. Berg,
the voice. You know, Billy. In all seriousness, I mean, Brownie is. He's Myron Cope-esque. He's. It's Prince, it's Cope, it's Brown. He's the voice.
Hey, Mike. Prince really and Myron was never the pirate parrot. This guy was the pirate parrot. He was a fill-in parrot.
That's right. Hey, I'm not going to hog up all this time that you're going to quality time you're going to have here with William Bergs. So I don't want to do that, but I will tell Billy in case he's unaware. And this you're not going to have enough time to do all this today. But the history that Mike Berger has with the Pirates and his family, which goes back 2, if not more generations, with his dad and his grandfather. Yeah. Fascinating stories. So, Bill, if not that you need any questions, but ask him about the pirate logo, how that came to be, that infamous logo of the 70s, mid 60s, 70s into the 80s. The smiling buccaneer. Ask him about that. Ask him about his grandfather. Not that you need my help, but it's fascinating stuff. But I'm going to let you go, Bergs. Let's get together one of these days.
Yeah, I'm back up in Pittsburgh. I'm down in actually head back to San Juan for a few days to scout. But I look forward to getting together with you guys and our annual Christmas gathering here in a couple of weeks.
Look forward to it, Bergs.
See
you, Bill.
Hey, Brownie, thank you, man. How about that for a surprise, Mike?
It's a great surprise right there.
You know, I just picked that one out of my earlobe and said, I wonder, if Brownie would like to talk to Jack Berger. Not Jack Berger, Mike Berger. Now, tell me about this. I didn't know about this smiling buccaneer. Did your dad, Jack, come up with something, or?
Well, let me give you the Reader's Digest version. Okay, as you'll recall, prior to moving into Three Rivers in '70, they had the old pirate skull and crossbones.
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that was my grandfather. That was Jack Senior is the architect of that.
Okay.
I mean that's widely known. My grandfather, the yearbook of the 1960 World Series Pirates. That was my grandfather's. It's Berger there, right-hand corner. My grandfather was a renowned cartoon artist for the Pittsburgh Press, and he had many accomplishments, including he designed the old skull and crossbones logo for the Pirates that they had up until they moved into Three Rivers.
Okay.
Whereupon my father and my mother, who's still living at 88, my mother tells the story that when they were moving from Forbes to Three Rivers, obviously new ballpark, new identity. My father, who was on a little committee there to usher in a new logo, mentioned to my mother in passing. My mother's name is Nell. Nell, we're going to get rid of my father's logo. We're going to go with a more modern version. Any thoughts? And I don't know if he really wanted my mother's opinion, but my mother said, I've always told you that I found Frank Gifford to be a good-looking man. And my dad stopped right there dead in his
Frank
tracks.
Gifford?
The logo from the 1970s Buccaneer is the likeness of Frank Gifford.
Frank Gifford, the football player and broadcaster.
Frank Gifford, the football player, broadcaster, former husband of Kathy Lee. That logo of the Buccaneer, of the Pirates from 1970 till whenever that was retired in about 80, 81, is the likeness of Frank Gifford, and that was my mother's brainchild.
Wow.
Which was passed on to my father, which was passed on to the committee, the powers that be, and the logo went from my grandfather's sketch to my mother's vision. 100% true.
Wow, I'm Googling that right now. I want to see this logo. I remember it, but I got to see it again.
Oh, yeah. The smiling bucko, yeah.
70s to what?
It says 70 to 79, whatever. Just look at 71 World Series. I mean, you know.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but that's Gifford's likeness.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
What did I learn today, DeFabio? A lot.
Well, that's Brownie. I mean, again, Greg Brown. Greg Brown is the best. Greg Brown is the best in the business.
You know what? He's one character. You know.
No.
I can find skeletons
he's legitimately the best in the business.
Yeah.
And you listen to them all. I hear them all, and there are some really good ones.
Yeah.
But
never heard a bad thing about the guy. Nothing at all. Now, sometimes I try and find skeletons because I got a few. Not with him. Not with him. And, you know, remember when I think he was a part-timer or an interner, then a part-timer. Then he did marketing, and then, you know, the rest is history. He went to Buffalo. You know, he was with the Bills for all 4 Super Bowls. So he's got 4 AFC championship rings. He was there for the baseball team. I mean, he's a very...
Yeah, he used to cover me because I went through the league. That was the old American Association, and I was playing with the Oklahoma City 89ers, and we'd roll in and play, 4 games, 5 games a year in Buffalo, and Brownie was always on the air, and of course I had a friendship with him when he was, as you said, interning with the Pirates in the 70s, and I was running around Forbes or Three Rivers, as a kid trying to, do whatever I could to become a better player.
Yeah.
So
back to your dad and Mr. Guilfoyle. You know, they took me aside because I was only working for I worked in a liquor store to make money, but then I'd work football games, getting $15 when I paid $20 for gas to get to Uniontown or whatever. So they took care of me, all right? Then I would go to spring training. And Bill Guilfoyle felt bad for me because here all my colleagues have rent-a-cars. You know what he rented me for a week? A bicycle. So I took a bicycle from Pirate City down to McKechnie Field every day, and my colleagues would drive by me in their rental cars that their companies paid for to wave at me. There you go.
Oh, that's funny.
And then he took me aside and he says, we're tired of seeing you in T-shirts. So he got me a couple of pirate-like T-shirts with collars. You know what I mean?
Very nice.
Yeah, but I remember your dad and Bill Guilfoyle, great guys that opened doors for me. So.
Yeah, thank you. They both were. They're great men, and they set great examples, and I couldn't agree with you anymore.
Yeah, and probably a lot of times when I would get there early for BP, maybe I saw little Mike Berger on the field somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Yeah,
I'm sure you did. I didn't miss. I was down there all the time.
Now, you were a good baseball player. Were you better than, I like dropping names, were you a better ball player than Dan Marino? Because he could have turned pro, right?
The fact that I even have to hesitate would tell you that obviously we're talking baseball, not football. Would tell you that we were on a level playing field there. He was talented though, Billy. I'll tell you what, Marino was class of '79, Central Catholic. I was class of '80. He was drafted 4th round by the Kansas City Royals. I was drafted the following year 4th round by the Pirates.
Yeah.
Had Marino signed with Kansas City, and play baseball only, I firmly believe that not only would they have had a Hall of Fame third baseman in George Brett, but Marino would have been a Hall of Fame shortstop.
Whoa.
So maybe he was a better baseball. I mean, he was made right, wired right. Obviously, the athletic ability is a big component, but so much of what separates, the really talented players from the really productive players is it's that edge, it's that it. I'm tasked with finding that every day in my job as an evaluator, and it just oozed out of Danny even at that age. I mean, you knew. I mean, he was the ultimate competitor. He had IQ that was off the charts, football IQ, baseball IQ. Just a tremendous will to compete. Oh, and then by the way, you have this elite talent. Double plus runner plus arm, could hit for power.
A good-looking guy for TV.
Good-looking guy for TV, unlike you and I that have that proverbial face for radio. Really, really talented dude. Talented.
Yeah, okay. We haven't seen a quarterback at Pitt like him. Pickett may be close, but I'll still take Danny.
Oh, yeah.
Because Danny played, 4 years? Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish Kenny the best. Everything I'm reading, he's a first-rounder somewhere middle of the round. I guess they're even saying Carolina might be the club, and I'm going to be tuned in. I'll be in San Juan. I'll be tuned in Saturday watching the ACC championship, and certainly rooting for them and rooting for Pickett. And
I just hope he gets that trip to New York. He doesn't have to win the Heisman. Just take that trip and have a good time,
Oh, I know. I think he will. I think he has to be a finalist. But yeah, there's no look. Marino at that age had already played the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, he and Montana. I thought I would see them over and over again. I was there talking to both of them, Joe Montana and Dan Marino. I thought Danny would be at a ton of Super Bowls. Now, Joe.
Kenny's 24?
25. You're going to be 25.
Okay, yeah. Dan was already setting records in the NFL. And again, no slight on Pickett, but there aren't too many. There aren't too many guys you can compare to Marino.
All right, let's talk lockout for a few minutes, okay? I don't know if there's if front office said be careful what you say, but you can tell me I can't answer that or no comment. How about this? You're still employed to scout, right?
Yeah, with the Brewers.
Yeah.
Have a good gig with the Brewers and enjoy it quite a bit.
By the way, did my Red Sox do well getting Jackie Bradley back from your club?
I think they did. I think we did as well. I mean, we engineered a trade with the Red Sox last night, is what you're referring to.
Yes.
We take Hunter Renfroe. He's going to play right field for us. JBJ, Jack Bradley Jr., goes back to his roots.
What about the two minor leaguers?
Defender,
what about the two minor leaguers?
Dynamic defender, and if they can if they can unlock the bat that was missing in Milwaukee last year. And Boston received two pretty talented minor league players from us in return. So a good deal for both, I believe.
Okay. And I've already talked, Ross Vecchio. He's the scout for the L.A. Angels, right?
Yep.
I see him at the Wild Things game. I couldn't have your jobs of traveling you do. He told me he liked the prospects that the Pirates got. The Pirates did okay, trading one Gold Glove catcher for another one, plus 3 prospects. Are you going to tell me those going to be, maybe a couple of those 3 are going to be in the majors soon?
Yeah, I'm with Ross on that. I agree. I think Ben and company did a good job. I mean, obviously it had to sting sending Stallings out. Putting aside the Gold Glove, the hardware that he won a month ago, it's what Stallings meant to the club, meant to the organization. Billy, for my money, Jacob Stallings is the next David Ross. The career paths are eerily similar. The makeup, the way they're wired, the way they're revered.
Yeah.
I think that Stallings, 5 years from now or whenever he decides to call it quits, assuming he wants to manage, I believe is going to go to the head of the line. Keep in mind he's the son of a coach, so he already has that in him. But with that being said, I do think that Charrington and company, they did their homework on these players coming back from Miami, all of whom I've seen, and I think all 3 have a chance to be contributors at the major league level.
Okay, I think I can ask you this question about the lockout. I'm not surprised. I just hope it's not a long one. Like Lola mentioned, we have to, what, March or February, they straighten these things out. But you've got two stubborn folks here, right? The players and management. I mean, they're both stubborn.
Well, again, I think you touched on it at the beginning. From my perspective.
Oh, yeah, you can't say anything. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't.
I'll say it. I'll say it. Here's what I want to tell you.
Much.
In 1981, when they had the strike, you had owners who bought teams trying to make a living and trying to pay the bills. Now you got billionaires, zillionaires. Hey, I like that team on the West Coast. I think I'll buy it. They don't worry about paying bills. So I think everything has changed. And I look at the New York Mets. I don't know if we talked about this last night or not. They just spent $254 million on what, 3 players? They don't even have a manager yet.
Yeah, they don't even have a manager.
The manager can't even talk to his new players because who is it? I don't know. But why do you see teams like the Dodgers, my Red Sox, the Yankees, the Angels have spent some money. They didn't go out and spend a lot of money free agency, but a lot of the teams, 4 of them, who didn't even smell the playoffs because they weren't in it, went out and spent a lot of money. Why didn't they wait and maybe get some bargains?
Well, I can tell you this. The only bill that I'm worried about being paid is the one I'm speaking to right now. I just want to make certain that on the 1st and the 15th, you're paid. That's the only bill I'm concerned with right now. The rest of them, no. You know what? There are very intelligent, brilliant minds on both sides of this negotiation. The fan in me, just like the fan in you and everybody else that's listening, that's within earshot, certainly wants to see a very quick resolution. It's more procedural than anything. I can tell you that right now.
Okay, I could go with that.
The fact that it is a lockout, and I'm certain that both sides feel the way we do, in as much as nothing's to be gained if this thing were to drag on. And I'm very optimistic that both sides come to an agreement here and feel the way we do about the game.
All right, I just got that logo, past and present. Wow, I learned something about Frank Gifford today I never thought I would learn.
How about that?
I've learned a lot today. You know, it's still I'm still learning because I'm still a good listener, and I like talking like this stuff. I never knew that.
Yeah.
And a burger was responsible for everything. You know.
Well, I don't know, but it's still that's where, the Pirates. Look, I love my employer. I certainly, when the Brewers roll into town, I want to make certain that we do our business and beat the Pirates. But the Pirates are in, they're in my blood. That's where my father was raised. To my grandfather. My grandfather, the cartoon artist Jack Sr. He was also he was one of the original members of the Baseball Writers Association. So he was one of the original members of that grouping. So yeah, and he did it in Pittsburgh, and my father did it in Pittsburgh, and I still reside in Pittsburgh, and it's still the first box score I look at between you and me. It's your hometown team. Yeah. And having said, as a Brewer, I want to come in and do what we need to do. But there's a rich history there, certainly for the city, and certainly for my family as well. And they did a good job. They did a good job on the Stolly.
And I root for Milwaukee too, because I got to see a very skinny mini Yelich play in Washington, PA, as a member of the Pony League World Series. Yep. I remember looking at this kid. I said, first of all, what is he, 8 years old? And he was skinnier than a toothpick. Little did I know that kid, and I think it was somebody in the press box said he's going to be a good major leaguer, and I said, yeah, I'm going to be the Pope too. I was wrong, and he's had a great career. I just hope he stays healthy, man. He's got to stay healthy.
Yeah, as with all of them, and Yelly's had a back flare up every now and then, but Yelich and I were together in Miami too, so he had instances of flare ups from time to time, and he's 30 years old. He takes great care of himself, and it's a challenge. That sport, when you're preparing to play 162 of them plus 30 in the spring, and you're counted on every day. It definitely grinds, and but he's a talented kid, as you'd mentioned, and skinnier than a rail when he was a kid when we signed him in Miami. Skinny,
yeah.
Man, could he hit?
Yeah, I got a favor to ask. Bring me up for a Milwaukee game. I want to come down that slide. That Miller Lite slide when somebody hits a home run. I think that would be fun.
Bernie Brewer slide?
Yeah, oh, I thought that would be, of course, I'd probably have a heart attack, but. Yeah, you think you can arrange that for me?
No, just kidding.
Can you see me sliding down that thing?
I love you, you know.
Lola would say, I hope he falls off, you know.
Oh,
Hey, speaking of Lola, let's get her Tigers involved. How did they do? They got Baez. Where'd they get the money? 6 years, $140 million. They got a catcher, Burkhardt or whatever. They did okay.
Yeah, they're certainly they're on the road to recovery there. And you know, AJ Hinch, AJ's going into his second year, and of course, all the success that Hinch had in Houston, and I know I worked with AJ in Arizona. They certainly have the right man in the dugout. They make good decisions over there. Bruce Tanner is one of their
that's Chuck's son, isn't
evaluators.
It? Was that Chuck's son?
Out the talent. So
was that Chuck's son?
Oh yeah. Bruce.
I remember Bruce when he was like 15 or 16 years
Bruce
old in the Pirate dugout. Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce.
Wow.
Bruce is one of the major evaluators they have over there, and Bruce has been there for quite some time. And Chuck's son, the son of the legend Chuck Tanner, and Bruce and I are about the same age. We're 60, and Bruce is all over God's green earth finding players. And I do think Detroit's on the right track. I really do.
Can they play? Make her smile because she doesn't have a happy face right now. Can they be a 500 team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the goal is to be more than a 500 team. I think they're definitely on the pathway to success. They know what they're doing. Their system is rich. It's deep. It's about ready to pop. I mean, going from they're ready to go from Erie to the big leagues, from Double-A to the big leagues. It's a deep system. They're going to be a force here. As early as this year. And certainly in 23 and beyond.
All right. Hey, well, we're up against the clock. I learned so much about the Pirate logo. I can't wait to tell that story. And learned a lot. Well, I've learned a lot from you and your dad, and I didn't know your grandfather, but, if the name is Berger, it's a great name.
Well, thank you.
All right. Hope to see
you.
Well,
Merry Lola, Merry Christmas. Billy, Merry Christmas if we don't speak.
Yep.
Good, happy, healthy New Year to the both of you, and I'm sure we'll be speaking soon. And thanks as always. I always enjoy the time with you.
And I'll probably see you at a Wild Things.
Surprise with Brownie. That was great.
You like that? Every once in a while, I come through with something interesting. You know what I mean?
He's an icon. He really is.
Oh, he is. He is. He is. And you're an icon too in your business. Okay?
In my mind.
Hey, you're not like Tony La Russa, right? You go in a restaurant and you don't want to pay. Do you know who I am? We won't talk about Tony. Okay. Hey,
right.
Be safe, my friend, and we'll get together soon.
All right. Bye, Lola.
Bye, Mike.
All right.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good news on the Tigers' future. How do you like that, Lola? Yeah, not bad, huh? You heard it from the guy.
He just made me smile, and it's the first one I've had all day.
Wait a minute. I brought you breakfast. Didn't you smile after you ate the sandwich?
Well, yeah.
Was it good? I put a lot of bacon on it.
Yeah, you did. It was
Okay.
very good. I can always tell when you make it.
Okay. He knows every organization, sounds like a hockey, from top to bottom, and I just thought I'd ask him about the future
and
of
I
your
don't
Tigers.
think he had no reason to exaggerate about the Tigers.
I know.
So that bodes well.
Is Mickey coming back? Mickey coming back? Do you know? Is he
I
in it?
assume so.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything.
Because with Baez in that lineup, and they got some youngsters there, they're going to be good. They're going to be good.
I don't think Miggy had to have any surgeries during the off season like he's had to have in the past, or lingering injuries.
Well, we're going to go from the Wild Things to the Penguinis to the Pirates to the Lockout to working for the Milwaukee Brewers with a lot of local contests. By the way, this kid, when he was a kid, Mike Berger, I would say was as good a baseball player as Danny Marino. He wouldn't come out and say that. He said about even par. But I realized that Danny did have an offer to play for the Kansas City Royals. Can you imagine Danny Marino at shortstop, George Brett at third base? I don't think a ball would get through them at all. Okay, now we're going to talk about the Steelers and music, or music on the field, or music in the clubhouse. Why don't we just talk about what's wrong with this defense? Is this the end of the line for Ben? Get some offensive linemen in here for the draft. All that coming up with one of the voices, the insider of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and of course he writes for Steeler Digest, and he's a pretty good writer. You got to get the book Palomalo for Christmas. It's a great Christmas gift. Take it from me, a lot of great pictures. We'll be right back with Jim Wexell right after this.
The Mountaineer football team will begin next season's Big 12 schedule where they left off this year. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Caridi. That story coming up on today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics.
Kroger knows this year the holidays are doubly important, so make your celebrations doubly special with fresh, never frozen, prime grade beef and Simple Truth organic Brussels sprouts. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Double special in this void where prohibited. Certain restrictions. Wait, stop it, legal. We've got even more special holiday food, like delicious king crab legs with private selection gourmet potatoes, or cave-aged Murray's cheese, and fresh baked La Brea bread. Kroger, fresh for everyone. All right, legal. You're up. Double special in this void where prohibited. Certain restrictions may apply. Shop at participating stores for more details. 42 million Americans struggle with hunger, yet 35% of the food in this country is wasted. Those aren't just numbers. They're our neighbors, your daughter's friend from school, the family of 4 next door. The Kroger Company's Zero Hunger, Zero Waste Foundation is committed to making fresh food accessible to all by ensuring it never goes to waste. Together, we can help end hunger. Learn more at zerohungerzerowastefoundation.org.
The Big 12 Conference releasing next season's football schedule on Wednesday, and here's how it breaks down for WVU. The Mountaineers will play 6 games at home and 6 games away from Morgantown. Things will begin the first Saturday of September as we renew the backyard brawl against the Pitt Panthers. First meeting between the two teams since 2011. First game at Heinz Field since 2010. A very early start to league play for WVU. They will host the Kansas Jayhawks the very next weekend in Morgantown, Saturday, September the 10th. Then a game against Towson at home. West Virginia then hits the road, closing the month of September in Blacksburg against Virginia Tech. The month of October begins with a date at Texas. That's October the 1st. Then West Virginia's only open date on the schedule comes Saturday, October the 8th. When West Virginia resumes play, it will be the next Thursday, a night game in Morgantown against the Baylor Bears. After that, a trip to Texas Tech, and WVU will close out the month of October with a home game on the 29th against TCU. The month of November for the Mountaineers, a game at Iowa State on November the 5th. Then back-to-back home dates. Oklahoma comes in on Saturday, November the 12th, followed by Kansas State Saturday, November the 19th. West Virginia will close its regular season schedule on the road in Stillwater on the 26th of November as they play at Oklahoma State. That is today's Mountaineer Report. It's brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from Learfield.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog. I'm John Thayer. In the NFL this weekend, the Bengals are at home. They will host the Chargers. Los Angeles 6-5. Cincinnati is 7-4. Washington football team head to Las Vegas. They will meet the Raiders. Washington currently in the 7th position for the playoffs heading into the week. Steelers and Ravens meet Sunday in Pittsburgh. The Ravens are at the top of the AFC North. Steelers are trying to find their way back into the playoff mix. 15th ranked Pitt and number 16 Wake Forest will play tomorrow night for the ACC Football Championship. Both teams are 10-2 on the season after averaging nearly 43 points per contest. Tomorrow night's matchup for the ACC title will be the first meeting between the two teams this season. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog.
Shop on eBay this holiday season to get more for your dough on stand mixers. Or get more bling for less cha-ching on jewelry. And on eBay, you can even get more Cyber Monday steals on this season's hottest tech and gaming gear. You can get more because you save more on premium tech brands with eBay's exclusive Cyber Monday deals. Get more when you get it on eBay.
The new Michelin silicone plates last through everything.
On a world record-breaking drive from Alaska to South America in unpredictable conditions.
Thunderstorms, ice storms, they just don't quit.
Rainier Zeidlo chose Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades with advanced Quad-Tech 4-layer coated silicone that repels water, snow, and ice and lasts 2 times longer than other blades.
It's coming down in sheets.
Real world proven. Extreme weather wiping performance. Upgrade to Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades today. Only at Walmart.
Are you traveling? Working a little bit too much? Is your fur baby starting to get a little shaggy? Let Dirty Paws be your one-stop shop for all of your pet care needs. Stop in and see us at 202 18th Street or give us a call at 304-639-7754 to schedule your appointments for dog grooming, doggy daycare, and dog boarding today.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
Get the best tools for any job right now at Menards. Metabo HPT power tools are the preferred choice for professionals in the workshop and on the job site. They perform and deliver year after year. Metabo HPT nailers are the gold standard in pneumatic nailer technology. From framing to roofing nailers, Metabo HPT has you covered. Check out our selection and pick one up for yourself today at Menards. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. This morning was a busy morning on the Watchdog Morning Show, including a contentious interview with Congressman Alex Mooney, who will be meeting incumbent Congressman Dave McKinley in the Republican primary for this district next year. We had some good conversation and a little bit of feistiness in that interview. You can check it out on our podcast page at watchdognetwork.com. Tomorrow, the Friday Roundtable with John McCabe, the Friday Funnies, and all the breaking news of the day, plus more holiday conversation. See you in the morning, 7 o'clock, right here.
Just a program reminder, listener. Earlier this week, we heard from the Ravens offensive lineman Alejandro Villanueva. No, he didn't want to talk about the game Sunday, but we talked about Army-Navy, great rivalry. He gave us some great stories on playing for the cadets, 4 years. So I got to, even this out. Tomorrow in the 1 o'clock hour, the quarterback of the Navy midshipman from Carmichael's, Pennsylvania. His good friend is a guy by the name of Ralph Sindrich, who was a pretty good player at Pitt and in the NFL. Fred Stuvak will be here on the telephone. He played in 3 Army-Navy games. His record was 1-2. So all you Navy guys out there, hope you listen. Good conversation coming up with the quarterback from the early 70s. Right now, are you at the South Side or are you home?
That's when I played quarterback in the early 70s for my middle school team.
How'd you do?
Pretty bad.
Oh, okay.
Pretty bad.
So you said yourself, I want to be a writer.
Yes. Those who can't do right? Is that what it's? No, that's teach.
Yeah, teach. Yeah, okay. What school was this?
I don't believe that.
What school was this?
It was actually Como Park Elementary School in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, Buffalo. Okay, all right.
That way you can't check.
No, you think I would check on something you'd say, come on, Jim.
Well, that's funny because I used to always tell my buddies at Como Park Elementary School that my girlfriend was in Canada and you can't meet her. But I do have a girlfriend. I do have a girlfriend.
Oh,
She's
okay.
in Canada. Yeah.
Right now? You have a girlfriend in Canada? Or that was a long time ago?
When I was a kid in Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
That's what you always used to say. "Oh, I have a girlfriend, but you don't know her. She goes to another school."
That's great.
But in Buffalo, we'd always say, "She lives in Canada." But you really couldn't check.
Now, when you were a kid, did you like the Buffalo Bills? Probably were they in the AFC back then, right, or AFL?
No, we go through this all the time. I was born in Chicago, so I was
Okay.
in Buffalo. I was in Buffalo during OJ's 2,000-yard season, and I hated him because they said he was better than Gale Sayers, and I would have none of that.
Oh, I agree with you. Gale Sayers was much better, in my opinion.
Well, OJ went for 2,000. I mean, OJ was pretty good, but you know how kids are when they get their loyalties set.
Yeah. I was a Jimmy Taylor guy, you know. I like Jimmy Taylor. Hey,
I'm surprised you weren't more of a Cliff Battles man.
Yeah.
You watched a lot in the 40s, didn't you? Or the 30s?
Now, why'd you do that? Because Lola's laughing her butt off, and I don't like that, Jim. Can you praise me once in a while? Give me a pat on the back. I need it.
I'm hunkered down here in research, and I don't know why Cliff Battles came up.
I don't know either.
I'm really too far down the wormhole, I'll tell you.
Oh, man, Cliff Battle. Where's he play, or what's he do? Or is he dead? I don't know.
Cliff Battles. The chief went with his coach, Johnny Blood, to watch the Washington Redskins Giants game in 1937.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he saw Cliff Battles and Sammy Baugh playing together, and that's when he decided that he wanted Whizzer White to do the same thing that Cliff Battles was doing.
Right.
So that's why I had Cliff Battles on my mind. I apologize. I'm way out in left field right now.
Yeah, well, I'm way out over the fence, too, but that's okay. Hey, are you sick and tired of hearing some of these talk shows and some of the talk, even in newspapers, about music being played in the locker room and the practice field? Can we get over it after the first day all these stories came out?
Billy, I only listen to your show, so I don't know what's going on in the rest of the talk show world.
Yeah. Claypool feels that we need music on the practice fields and in the locker room. And then Ben Roethlisberger, we used a soundbite this morning. It was Dan Rooney who put like the silence cap on that when he walked in and tried to talk to the players and couldn't. So I don't know. I can't even remember if they played music when me and you were in
the locker room. That's the locker room. Yes, they played music when Cowher was there on Friday.
Yeah.
It was Hat Day. This is not a big deal.
No.
Okay, a 23-year-old kid wants music at practice. Can we just say no to all the 23-year-olds that want music? You know, you ask my daughter if she wants music at practice at soccer at Ohio U. Yes, she'll answer yes. And I tell you what, when I go and I watch them warming up for a game with the music playing, I see them. They're focused. They're loose but focused.
Okay.
And it's not a bad thing. But, okay, Claypool said he wants music. Okay, just say no like you're going to. And what is the big deal? I got to tell you, Bill. I got to tell you.
Tell me.
Just smacks. Well, you know, it's a black young receiver playing for a black coach, and the first thing people think about is this team is too undisciplined. Look what they do at practice.
Yeah.
So I just believe there are racial overtones, and it bugs me. That's all.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Hey, were you at practice today?
No.
Okay.
I'm in a research wormhole.
Any update on COVID-19 and who's going to, is TJ Watt and Spillane, are they officially out, or do we have to wait till Saturday?
Yeah, you got to wait till Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but I tell you, at least I think Buddy Johnson's going to get a hat, and he's a fourth-round rookie. And, boy, let's see if somebody can tackle on this team.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was, who said it on the air? That, Ryan Clark, who's been very vocal and very anti-Steeler-like, even Rocky Blyer with all of his texts and everything. But Ryan Clark said the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed or a cold. I think he's right.
Right. They can't. They're setting historically bad run defense. This run defense is allowing 4.8 a carry. The worst is 4.4 in modern Steelers history. In 1954, they allowed 4.7. In 1936, they allowed 5.0. This is historic. I mean, this is the explanation for why this team's so bad. You've seen their offensive line, right?
Yeah.
There was one play in the game. Anthony McFarland carried. If anybody of your listeners has the tape, watch one of the Anthony McFarland's carries. Both guards pull and run into each other. B.J. Finney and Trey Turner. They both pull.
I got to check that
run
out.
smack into each other. The offensive line is horrible, and the defensive line, without Tuitt and Alu is setting historically bad run defense records. That's the problem with the team, both lines. It's not coaching schematics. It's not Matt Canada. It's not Ben. It's not the rookie running back. It's they can't tackle and they can't block. They have to rebuild both lines. They've started the offensive line. Now they've got to start the defensive line. And then they're going to need a quarterback, too.
Anything else? Any Band-Aids?
Hunker down and get used to this, people. It's just how it is. You don't stay on top forever. And you just hope that if Tomlin and Colbert aren't too rich and wealthy and still have enthusiasm to start over, that they roll up their sleeves and get into this, because that's what they have to do. It's what it's all about.
What if they beat the Ravens? Is there still a disease on that team?
Oh, man, if the Ravens can't run through this team, the Ravens run the ball. That's all they do, right?
Yeah, that's all they do, yeah.
So, last week I said, you know what, there's no way they can tackle Joe Mixon. This is going to be ugly. But I got a hunch. These Steelers are going to pull it out. Well, I'm tired of the hunches. You know what? This team can't stop the run. So, and here come the Ravens. They're not going to stop the Ravens' run. I just got to go with that. I can't, it really wouldn't surprise me if they pulled the upset, but I'm tired of being the one predicting it, This team can't tackle. There's no way I'm predicting it. They're going to win another game.
Some of those bad teams of the 80s, and we saw and covered a lot of bad teams in the 80s. Can this team be compared to any of those teams?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These last two games, they've given up 82 points. It's the most since the 89 team gave up 92 to start the season. And the score in that 89 Bengals game was the exact same score as this Bengals game, 41-10.
And the first game was the Browns with their head coach Bud Carson, 51-0, right?
51-0, right.
Yeah, I do.
Cornell Lake's first game. And 2 years before that, they drafted Rod Woodson, Greg Lloyd, Artie Nickerson, Thomas Everett, Dalton Hall, and Merrill Hodge. And that was a foundation draft to go into the 90s. But it took, and I think this past draft is a foundation draft for the Steelers when it's all going to be said and done. But, it doesn't mean it's going to turn around next year.
Okay.
It's just, hey, that's their job. But I'm just looking at past history, and it's the end of the 80s. I know everyone's saying that when Ben's gone, that's the end of the 80s, because now we go through all the Scotty Campbells and Bubby Bristers. But I really think the 80s were a result of rebuilding from the 70s and not actually getting down and rebuilding.
Yeah.
And that's what these Steelers have done since Troy Polamalu and James Harrison and Joey Porter and all those guys moved on. And the only person left was Ben Roethlisberger, and he kept them at 8-8.
Yeah.
He was a good enough quarterback to go 8. They didn't go 2-14 to get those drafts that they needed. Yeah, so that's the mess we're in.
You don't think he's coming back, do you?
Who?
Ben.
Oh, no, not now. No.
Okay. I feel sorry for the guy. I mean, he's taking a beating,
he could stop making mistakes too.
Yeah, you're right. You're right there.
Didn't Rocky even call him out?
Oh, yeah.
I know these ex-players are just foaming at the mouth. I don't know if they realize how bad both of the lines are. It's not about practice and how hard they practice, or whether they listen to music on Fridays during the warm-up part of the practice.
Yeah, McFarland, Ryan Clark on national TV turned his back to the camera. I thought that was a bit stupid, but whatever. And
I don't know what that means.
Rocky Blyer, they're all coming out of the woodwork, I mean, just say they're not a good team. That's all. You don't have to go into detail like these guys.
Well, if you want to blame Tomlin for anything, blame him for the state of the lines. Yeah. And I don't know that Tuitt's absence can be blamed on him, but they're a mess. And, I know Colbert's in charge of personnel.
Yes.
But people have to realize that in Pittsburgh, the head coach is always in charge of everything, ultimately. They can explain it away on paper and say Kevin Colbert is equal with Mike Tomlin, but the coach in Pittsburgh always has final say. These guys get along, and they do agree all the time. And they talk to each other, and they respect each other. But head coach has been in charge of personnel forever. Of course, unless a Rooney wants something,
Yeah.
You know, if the secretary says a Rooney is on your telephone, then you're going to listen to what he wants. But the Rooneys have traditionally stayed out of the coaches. Yeah. Okay, Bill.
Butler, I just get carried away for a second. Butler, he's taken some
Jack
criticism.
Butler?
No,
Who's Butler?
the Butler,
I
the
told you,
defensive
I'm
coordinator.
in the
The
sports
defensive
fan.
coordinator. They said he hasn't called any plays. Tomlin calls all the plays. I can't believe that.
Well, you can see that Butler calls the plays on TV. You can see him. You can see him covering
Yeah.
his mouth with his play sheet.
Yeah.
But it's Tomlin's defense, yes.
Okay.
Tomlin's a defensive guy. I mean, what is it that people don't get about football coaches? They're in charge of their team.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Tomlin doesn't believe he knows offense like he knows defense. So he lets his offense guy do the work. And when Tomlin came here, LeBeau was so good, and this was his team, that Tomlin was smart enough to let LeBeau do it. But when the fire zone stopped working and they couldn't beat Brady, they got rid of LeBeau, and Tomlin said, I'm putting my defense in. I was the coordinator at Minnesota. Defense is my specialty. Keith, you worked with me at Memphis. You understand my thinking. You can think along with me for the most part. Butler knows what Tomlin wants and play calls to his pleasure, to his coaches, to his king's pleasure. It's just, I don't get, this is like some kid wanting to hear music at practice.
Yeah.
What part of this don't you stupid people understand? I'm sorry, Bill.
I like your honesty. You're the best. I'm serious.
Well, the head coach wants certain defense, whether he's right or wrong. And I've heard conspiracy theories that Tomlin's doing this to set Butler up to be the fall guy.
Oh boy, nothing surprising.
Hey, if Rooney says get rid of Butler for PR, for public consumption, somebody's got to take a fall for this. Okay, then that's what happens. Tomlin's not going to cut a guy who has been his play caller. It's like a pitcher that likes a certain catcher as his pitch caller. Yeah. No, the pitcher has the final say, but he knows the catcher likes to think along with him, and he's got a guy that thinks along with him better than the other catcher, and he wants this catcher.
Yeah.
So, and Keith Butler can coach linebackers. He's good at it. I really doubt that Tomlin would fire him unless there's something between the two that we don't know about.
Yeah.
It's always possible, but only Rooney would step in and say, "Hey, we got to do this for the public." they want somebody. They want somebody's head to roll.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, we're up against the clock. It was nice to know
All
that
right.
you were a quarterback in 8th grade. I'll let you know in college at Boston University, I played in every game. All right. During the pregame, I would catch all the kickoffs and the punch. Standing in the end zone, getting the ball. But I never really got in too many games. So there you go. 8th grade quarterback. Did you throw any touchdowns?
Oh man, I handed off a few.
Okay.
Count?
Yeah,
Does
that counts.
count?
That counts. That
Okay.
counts. All right. Now, what do I got to do for homework? Who do I have to look up? What was the name you brought up?
I think it was Cliff Battles.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
I just thought maybe he was like the tailback that you like to watch most when you were a kid.
Yeah, but that's the 40s, right?
1937.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that. I got sound bites. Oh. Hey, Jimmy, you're the best. We'll talk next week.
All right.
It's always
All
a
right,
pleasure,
Bill.
man. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
He tells it like it is. Like Howard Cosell. Only Cosell's no longer with us. Hey, don't forget tomorrow, all you Navy guys, listen in. We got the quarterback of the 71 through 73 Navy midshipman, okay? A local guy from Carmichael's. That's not too far from here. All right? Played against Pitt, probably against West Virginia, too, because he was a Navy guy. All right? We'll be right back tomorrow, same time, 12 to 3, with Lowell and Bill. Now, that's a great 1-2 punch, because we are, and always will be, working together and the odd couple.